We'll start out with our invocation and pledges of allegiance. Trustee Duran?
Thank you. Almighty and merciful God, please stand up.
Either way, that's fine.
We ask your guidance and blessings upon this board, students, parents, patrons, teachers, and administrators as we are assembled here this evening in the common pursuit of this great nation's wealth, our children. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to Texas, one
State under God, one and indivisible. All right, good. Thank you, Trustee Duran. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll welcome everybody to this is a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Before we officially call the meeting order, the board would like to take a moment to briefly review some of the rules for conducting our meeting. The order of business for this meeting is set out in the agenda, and one item that you may notice on the agenda is the consent agenda. This item includes things that are considered routine and or of recurring nature. Now, all the items listed on the consent agenda will be acted on in one motion. If there is a consent agenda item which anyone here would like to address, we ask that you please sign up to speak the item, and we'll pull it from the consent motion and discuss it later or separately. The purpose of our meeting is to conduct board business, and for that reason, it is held in public. It is not a public forum. However, we do provide the opportunity for audience participation. If there's anyone here that would like to address the board regarding Citizens Be Heard agenda item or any of the other items that we have, we ask that you, again, complete that sign-up sheet. This is important so we don't overlook anyone that wants to address the board. Is there anybody here that didn't get that opportunity to sign up? Okay, good. We'll go ahead and close out our sign-up sheet. And what we'll do is if we have anybody that did sign up, we'll review the rules for addressing the board when we get to that particular portion. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll turn over to our superintendent, Dr. Kraft.
All right. Well, good evening. Thank you all for being here. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. It is a busy time of the year. I think that it's only appropriate to start with my report to recognize the John Jay High School Choir under the direction of Clint Fabian, who welcomed you this evening. They are obviously phenomenal. So they're going to come in, and I think they're going to actually sing one more rendition, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Fabian, thank you so much for all your hard work. He is a NISD graduate, if I'm not mistaken. Marshall Rams, yeah. So does a phenomenal job. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us this evening. And so, Mr. Fabian, I'll turn it over to you.
The first song we're going to be singing is a song called Glow. You may have not heard of it before, but I really like it, so we're going to sing it. It's all of the things we love about winter. Fire, being together, enjoying some hot cocoa. It's a great song. You're going to love it.
They twinkle when you smile.
top of my list. With your kiss, to this feeling in the air, you look good in the light of my Christmas tree. You and the mistletoe and me, so nice. You are my sunshine over a field of snow, and I love to watch you glow. Pour on the cocoa, it's getting late. Just smells all the frost on the window pane. Oh, wait, just stay. You look good in the light of my Christmas tree. You and the mistletoe and me. You are my sunshine over a field of snow. And I love to watch you glow. Come on, just glow. Just glow. You look good in the light of my Christmas tree. You and the mistletoe and me. So nice, you are my sunshine over a field of snow. And I love to watch you go. I love to watch you go. I love to watch you. Come on and Our next song is The Soloist by 9th grader Ethan Medina, and he is going to be singing a classic, Jingle Bell Rock. song that we're going to perform is actually not one that we learned for this upcoming concert. It is one that we performed at our October concert called Earth Songs. I think it's really important for students to know about different types of cultures and where different people come from. We have many different diverse groups at John Jay and Sam Rayburn. And so we did an entire concert where students got to research about different cultures. And at that concert, students sang in Spanish, Japanese, Hebrew, Latin, English, and a couple different more languages. And they got to learn about those cultures as well as we were learning the music. And so I wanted to bring a piece back from there. This is a Latin piece that they learned called Festive Alleluia, and I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you would like to hear many more wonderful holiday songs, we are having our concert this Friday. It's at 6:30 p.m. at the John Jay Auditorium. Brand new, beautiful auditorium space. You'll hear lots of Christmas favorites. You'll hear some new carols that you've never heard before, and it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to perform tonight. We hope you guys have a great night.
Good. Thank you.
So Mr. Fabian is also the choir director at Rayburn Middle School.
That's right.
And so he wears multiple hats. What a awesome performance of the John Jay Mustangs and the choir, and just something we can really cherish this time of year. A couple of things. There's a little bit going on, as Mr. Fabian indicated. There are multiple choir concerts, band concerts. Would encourage you to, like I say, take a look at your board calendar and, like I say, come join us in some real special celebrations. I do want to just give a shout out to our clinical teachers. We had the opportunity to celebrate their success, many of who are going to be hired and coming to work for Northside ISD. Already have come to work for Northside ISD at this point. Dr. Hall, Ms. Freeman, Ms. Sadania, y'all were able to, like I say, join us at the celebration. It really was a great place. again, Jenny M. and Natalie Gray and our entire professional learning team does a fantastic job. One of the things that we discussed in numerous conversations and will continue to discuss is just how important it is to develop the next generation of educators. And I think that we've got a really, really bright future with our upcoming educators, with our clinical teachers. I had the opportunity to participate in the Nichols Elementary Literacy Parade prior to the November break, Thanksgiving break. It was really just a great event. Ruby Cardenas and Jeff Davenport, the principal there, it's just a really special opportunity to engage, but also to see the great things that are happening across the district. Nichols, for those that you don't know, is it's a little bit of a trek. It's on our far east side of the school district, and they're doing great. They're doing great things. Again, congratulations to the Harlan Hawks. They made it to the fourth round of the playoffs, which is the regional finals, and set history for not only the program at Harlan, but really fought hard and played a great game. They fell a little bit short after beating Dripping Springs, but it was a great venue. It really was. Yeah, we had the opportunity to support the Hawks at Texas State University, and they had a great season. So congratulations again. I've mentioned this. Somehow I was placed on a board that governs the college board, and so we had the opportunity to convene in New York City this past week, and it was really eye-opening. There were obviously a lot of large school superintendents that joined me, about 15. One of the things, though, that I'm so proud of is just how we're going about expanding opportunities, not only through advanced placement, dual credit, SAT, PSAT, NMSCQT testing, but just how we're going about making sure that students are provided those opportunities through stacking classes, which was really interesting in the sense that the CEO even opened up with, I think possibly stacking classes, partnering with colleges like Alamo colleges, and offering an AP curriculum in dual with AP is probably the way of the future. And I was like, this is perfect because this is what we do and have been expanding. So Jerry Woods, sitting in the back, I mean, he introduced me to this concept about a year and a half ago, and I think it's actually the way that we're going to see College Board and AP and the symbiosis of how community colleges and universities work together to ensure that our students are being college and career ready. So great visit. It was cold. New York City is cold this time of year, but great visit. We had the opportunity to dedicate Melissa Chumley Elementary School. That was an awesome tribute to the Chumley family. Melissa, who served on the board of trustees here in Northside ISD for 28 years. Congratulations again. Just an awesome tribute to her. Namesake of our newest elementary school, and we're so proud of the Chumley champions. And then finally, I'll wrap up with this. Thank you again for the trustees that engaged with our legislative priorities. There's a lot going on the legislative front. I would say that is going to be interesting this upcoming legislative session. I do think that it's going to be positive in the sense of promoting public education and supporting public education through appropriations of funding, which is obviously one of our priorities. And there's a lot of work to be done, but I really think that, like I say, our two convenings today were very positive, and we're going to continue to move forward. So with that, Mr. President, I think we have a video moment, if I'm not mistaken. We do not have a video moment.
That was it?
That was the video.
That was good.
John
Live
Jay
moment.
John Jay
Live.
High School Choir was the video moment. So if you took a video, that was your video moment this evening. But like I say, barring any questions, there's a lot going on right now. Obviously, as you've seen your calendar of events and just so many things, this weekend is booked solid from 8 to 9 p.m. But it's very, very positive, and to see John Jay, it's just, it really is just a reminder of what it is we do on a daily basis as we're engaging in conversations, particularly as we enter into this legislative session. It's really about the students. And so there are great things going on, and I remind myself, and I'm going to remind our trustees and the audience to just cherish the moment of really seeing students succeed, because that's really what Northside ISD is about. So.
Good. And the student ambassadors?
Yeah, so we have with us some student ambassadors. Okay, they're hiding.
No, they're there. There's 5 of them.
They're, if our student ambassadors will just real quickly stand up. We had the opportunity, we had the opportunity to decide, I had the opportunity to decide, you know what, let's put a face behind Northside ISD. We talk about opportunities and we talk about tremendous achievements, but at the same time, what does that look like? And so our student ambassadors are with us tonight. If y'all will come on up, I'm sorry, if you'll just introduce yourself once again. We had the opportunity to engage back in, I don't know, October. These are individuals that are really going to talk about Northside ISD, talk about the great things that are going on. And I think it's going to be much more meaningful coming from our students than it is from a superintendent or an elected official. And they are, as you will find out, tremendous individuals. So if it's okay, student ambassadors, if y'all will come to the microphone, introduce yourself, let us know what campus you're from. I think I see a Holmes Husky, but I'm not positive.
Go Huskies.
And like I say, just let us hear from you, if you don't mind.
And we'll start with our Holmes Huskies first? Okay. Yeah, you can start us out.
Little introduction.
Yeah.
One to the microphone. My name is Chloe Martinez. I am a senior. I go to Holmes High School. I'm involved in many things, not only student ambassador. I am also involved in the NHS. I am involved in softball, athletic training, and I help so much around the campus.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Chloe.
Show off. Sorry. My name is Ray Perez. I also attend Holmes High School, like Chloe Martinez, and again, we're also involved in many other things aside from ambassador. But we're very glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here, and she kind of took me here, so.
All right.
Hi, my name is Dominic Morales. I go to O'Connor. I'm part of the ASTA program. I have a goat and I do AgMech as well. Yeah, and I'm part of varsity soccer at O'Connor.
Awesome. Awesome.
My name is Ryan Almanza. I go to John Marshall High School. I'm in the Law Magnet program, and this year I'm doing mentorship to one day become a superintendent.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
Be careful.
My name is Tien Vu, and I go to Ensai High School, and I'm studying business. And I'm not a sport person, but I am a president of NHS and NTHS.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Avani Nagargare. I'm a junior at Health Careers High School, and I hope to one day go into the medical field as a surgical oncologist. And so I'm involved in many things within my school and at the UT Health Science Center.
Hi, my name is Christopher Fuentes. I'm a senior at Health Careers High School. I'm involved in the dental strand at Health Careers, which allows us to go to clinical offices and do rotations. I'm a part of varsity tennis, and thank you for the opportunity to be a student ambassador.
Hi, I'm Christopher Pinedo. I'm a senior at John Jay High School. I don't have much impressive stuff to say as them, but I do student council, part of NHS, and right now I'm studying to go into business, hopefully at UT, and hopefully get my degree there and become a A&R for a record label.
All right.
Hi there, my name is Leah. Hi there, my name is Leah Joyner. I am a senior at John Jay High School. I am in the mathematics strand, and I am a secretary for NHS, vice president for Art and Mural Club, and I participate in our theater program.
All right.
Hi, my name is Olivia White. I'm a senior at Brennan High School, and I am an editor for the yearbook this year.
All right.
So again, our student ambassadors, obviously phenomenal students. They are going to tell the story of Northside ISD, and we are so proud of your accomplishments, but also thankful for, like I say, what you're going to do to support our vision and tell the story, because I think it's really important as we go forward with some really challenging times in and around public education for our community and for the public to see exactly what it is you guys do. So so thank you, and congratulations to our ambassadors. And with that, that finalizes my report,
right.
unless there are any questions.
Good. Well, thank you, Dr. Kraft. I'll add to the student ambassador. Y'all are off to a good start, because our meetings usually aren't this full. I know y'all, it's all because of you all that we got a full meeting. So thank you all for starting us out that way.
Thank y'all for doing.
Oh, they meet month. She's asking the next time they meet.
Monica.
They have so many
Yeah.
things they have to attend, so one board meeting a year is one of them. They're getting that out right now. They have to go to 2 district events, and then they have to share a story, whether it's social media or they've been in a couple of them, sharing stories for the staff newsletter, that sort of stuff. So.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Before we do our board reports next, I think one business item for the board. So right after we had closed down signing up for speaking at agenda item, somebody got here just a minute or two afterwards, and I wanted to check if the board is okay if that citizen is able to sign up for that item. Sure. Everybody good? Okay. We'll go ahead and do that then, just for that one. Okay, good. All right, so now next, and thank you again, Dr. Kraft. Next, we have our board members report. Dr. Duran.
Thank you. I do want to start off by giving the condolences to the family of James Hare. He was a coordinator for vocal performing arts, and we just want to extend our condolences on your loss. And I want to thank the Fine Arts Department and all of the students that are working really hard this holiday season to be able to share their talents with the entire community. We were all invited to attend the Nutcracker event, and I was able to take 4 Northside families with me and their little ones, and it was really a beautiful event. I had never been to see the Nutcracker myself, so it was my first Nutcracker event. So thank you for that, Elizabeth. I also want to thank the Northside Educational Foundation Gala. It was a very nice event, and I was honored to speak at the event, but we were also very grateful for everyone that donated and contributed to be able to provide grants for our teachers and our community here at Northside. I do also want to thank the Thanksgiving in El Barrio Seacliff Foundation that gives scholarships to students, and give a shout out to our Marshall High School Mexican American Studies students and their leader, Anthony Gonzalez. The Clark High School cheerleading squad came out, and their entire team and coaches were there right before Thanksgiving. And 600 families were served with a Turkey Day meal that you were able to prepare for their families. And we had a community member send a personal message saying that even though they're very highly educated, they make usually good money, this was a hard year for them, and they were just so thankful for that opportunity to have a meal, but also saved them the embarrassment of having to share this downfall right now that they're going through. So there's a lot of folks out there that we can continue to help into the holidays. And with that, I just want to honor, for me, Our Lady of Guadalupe on December 12th. She is one of the people that has always been near and dear to my heart. So for those that celebrate, we want to honor her, Our Lady of Guadalupe, on December 12th. So thank you and happy holidays.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Duran. Trustee Saldana?
Dr. Kraft was right when he said we have lots of things going on. So mine's going to take a little bit, but I'll go fast. We visited McAndrew Elementary, and I was just blown away. Those kids and their composting, their pumpkins, they have pumpkins everywhere where they're growing, their gardens, planting seeds and being taught how to do it and what they're planting. It was just so amazing to watch those elementary school kids and to see how the teachers connect with those kids. There's just so much good going on in Northside. Today we got to see the Myrnan little ones, and by little I mean the kindergarten chefs. They walked in with their little chef hat and they read to each trustee 1, 2, 3 books, whatever it was, and these are kindergarten kids and they were reading. So that was really an awesome. Taft High School, you did an incredible job with Seussical. They had 175 participants in that play. It was another, what can I say? You know, our district is awesome. Our football teams that went into the playoffs, Sotomayor, Brennan, Jay, Warren, Harlan, it was so much fun, and Harlan went all the way to the 4th round. It was fun to go and watch them play because they play with heart. And even though the result was not what they were hoping for, at the end they said, we're not done. We'll be back. And I believe they will. So congratulations, Harlan, and their coaches or staff. All the coaches in these categories went above and beyond because the season lasted longer than the 10 days, so 10 games. So, it was really nice to see all the coaches as excited as the kids, and so we thank all our coaches for all their time. Reading Under the Lights, that was the first for me, and that was so much fun. All those little kids, the mascots running around. Our ambassadors were there reading with the kids. Awesome. Clinical teachers, Dr. Kraft talked about it. I was so excited because almost all of them were saying, I'm going to work for Northside, I'm going to work for Northside, and so we need them. The Chumley dedication, again, it was beautiful, and it was so nice to see so many of us there. The Neff Gala and grants, I went today with the grants, and I presented over $10,000 in grants, and those teachers were just, the minute we walked in, they knew that they had won. It wasn't like before where it was a new teacher and they saw us come in and didn't know why. These teachers knew why, and they got so excited. The city council, the legislative luncheon that we attended today, all part of us trying to advocate for our public schools and for our district. You know, the session's coming up, and we've got to talk to our legislators. We need help. And so that was nice, Dr. Kraft. Thank you for setting them up. And John Jay singing to us today. Again, what can I say about our school district? But then on a personal note, we always talk about Northside being family. And when I was at Holmes High School, we felt like it was family. Well, since I retired, every year I host a tamale luncheon for the retirees that I worked with throughout those years. And yesterday, we got together at my house, and there were 35 of us from Holmes High School who retired at some point, and we all just come together and enjoy seeing each other once a year. Well, this year, I had gotten a call, and the ROTC at Holmes was going to be wrapping some stuffed animals and needed shoe boxes and wrapping paper. So I just put out a message to the retirees. I said, hey, if y'all can bring some wrapping paper or tissue or even a donation, I want you to know that they took back 5 trash bags of gift wrap, stuffed animals, money. I invited them to come to lunch. The liaison for the family liaison, Gilbert Pettis, who was also a home student, and I taught him at one time. And then our new ROTC Lieutenant Colonel Davis, the two of them were invited to come so that they could thank the teachers. But that just goes to show that when you're a family, like we all met at Holmes High School, and we continue to help Holmes High School. And when they were leaving, they said, we need to do that again. We need to have a project to do for next year. So they already know that we're going to help an organization at the school next year. So I just wanted you all to know it still goes on. Once a Husky, always a Husky. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll go next to Trustee Harrell.
Do we all say that? Like, I thought it was once a ram, always a ram. Anyway, that was great. And ditto on the clinical teachers. I do, kind of on a personal note, several of those students were my students from UTSA, and they know high-quality instruction, and they know high-quality treatment, and they are so dedicated to staying in Northside. And so, and really, I leave Northside out of my classrooms. They loved their experiences in Northside and also shared, because the students go to all different districts. And so when they come together, probably every 2 or 3 weeks, we debrief under a certain theme. And so they hear what's going on throughout Bexar County. And so that it's just so heartening to know that the ones that we've had experiences with Northside want to stay. They may not want to teach right away in January, but they do want to sub. They want to sub and they want to come back. I think it's scary going into an already existing classroom in January, but I need to work on that somehow. Work that into the curriculum. But anyway, they were treated well that night too. I think we all could have left with doggy bags. I spent 2.5 days in Austin last week with the TASB Board of Directors, and they have a brand new toolkit for community advocacy that came out, and all the trustees will get it. But when I was looking at it, there's activities and PowerPoints that can go with this. It'd be great to share with PTA groups, with teacher organizations, without advocating for one particular topic. It's the art of advocacy, or it's the act of advocacy, and how you can do it well around whatever your legislative agenda is. But it is so well done. I mean, I tore it apart over the weekend to look at all the different activities, and it really is very user-friendly. So this is kind of the pretty version, but there is kind of the school teacher version that comes with the script and PowerPoint and everything else. Same thing, the agenda, being able to be with trustees from throughout the state of Texas is also very enlightening in a couple ways, whether we're rural, medium, or large, whether we're 100% Title I or the opposite. The need for public ed advocacy is very, very strong, and a lot of the legislative items were the same. We need increased school funding, bottom line. But that was refreshing at the same time. Rural has a little bit twist on some things, but because they're rural. I mean, they're very concerned about some of the current initiatives. So it was really good just being with like-hearted, for most of the time, like-minded people who care about the welfare of our children. And so that was great. I joined a group. I followed them on Twitter. They were doing is a book study called Braiding Sweetgrass, which is an incredible book. And they meet every month and go in a park. And whomever the park person is, this was David at Frederick Wilderness Park, weaves in concepts from the book. And it's really about outdoor education. It's about nature. It's about relationships. It was so wonderful being with teachers. There were librarians. It was great. Amalia Solers organizes it. And again, I forgot where we're going in January. But nature's where everybody, there's a leveling of the playing field. Like everybody is just, you're humbled by nature. And so it was nice, just being able to be with teachers and just talk about all the wonderful things that are happening. We did some breathing techniques, and it just was neat. And then learning about the 500-year-old cedar tree, which I still wanted to cut down. I don't care how old it is. It's like I'm not a cedar, but now I appreciate cedar. And they serve as a nesting for one particular bird that we don't want to go extinct. So those kind of things. There is learning about the different parks at the same time. I wanted to big shout out to Stevens today, the culinary department. That I don't often say this, but that was one of the best meals I've had.
Good.
It was really, really good, and the kids were dynamite. And the Mernon Littles, it was just like bookends. Like we had seniors and we had kids starting our system all in the same room. Again, I wish there would have been more legislators there, but we did have the ear of Jim, and he was great. And I'm going blank on his last name.
Morales.
Jim Morales from Dr. Campbell, Senator Campbell's office. So that was wonderful. John, you did a great job at City Council today. Thanks for representing Northside so well. I do think Representative Trey Martinez Fisher had a great suggestion about really being specific about our asks. If we think we want $500 or $1,200 more dollars per student, what would that look like? I like that idea, so I'm going to kind of capture that in my next steps. And then Patty Sanchez, who had been in our district. I don't think she's gone yet. Is she gone? Tomorrow. She was she opened up Andy Morales Elementary School, which. If anyone knows Margaret Morales, she is like the most heartfelt human, just great. Her husband, Andy, was a baby judge with my husband, and so we've been such close friends, and that was such a healing thing for her. And also to have a principal who was the same height of Andy. That was really cute to hear that story. But Patty was instrumental the few days after Uvalde. Patty and her folks went with Kim and her folks to help out the teachers and with curriculum in Uvalde, on top of just being like always so positive and really leading elementary curriculum and instruction. So she will be missed, but I know she's going to have a good time. And I think that's it. Okay. Thank you. Oh, and happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays.
All right, Trustee Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Blunt. As you've heard, so many things going on. And we attend things for various reasons as trustees. Certainly one of the most is to learn what's going on in this school district and all the successes of our kids, but to truly celebrate the work of the kids. Regarding the culinary arts kids today, some things we do get to ask Monica is an opportunity to request the recipe, perhaps, of what we were served. That chicken was the chicken, as well as the sauce that went over the chicken, and then there's the dessert, of course. So perhaps they could furnish us with some recipes, but they did a really outstanding job in their presentation and the cooking, and as you heard, the little kids. The gala certainly was a success. I know Ms. Saldana talked about awarding grants to our teachers. It is because of the fundraising of the foundation that we are able to do that, and teachers write for grants that have to do with, they could purchase or use the money to do innovative things in their classrooms. There are things that we as a school district are unable to provide for them, and this is an opportunity. So congratulations to the foundation regarding their successful gala. And the field trip that we did, you've heard about the McAndrew field trip. As I talked about, we go and celebrate our kids' successes. Those kids, the STEM teacher took us around outside in their garden. They have a phenomenal garden. I wish I could grow some of the things that they did. Their butterfly garden. And the pumpkins, they had vines of pumpkins. And what I did learn, and maybe y'all can think about this, but they actually took a pumpkin, cut off the top, and they scooped out a little bit of the pulp, and they planted it. And then they had pumpkin. And then they had vines growing all over the place. Yeah. And then some in the same STEM class, they did carve out a pumpkin, took the seeds, and the STEM teacher had these kids walk around the school just throwing out pumpkin seeds, and she showed us where all these little sprouts have gotten. So anyway, great.
And the bluebonnet.
Yes, it was great. It was wonderful. The all the stuff for the butterfly garden, and anyway, so congratulations to all of our kids. And yes, we wish you all a happy holiday season.
Good. All right. Thank you, Trustee Freeman. Got you covered. Trustee Gavetta.
Yes, want to thank Vernon Elementary, the kindergartners that went to read to us today. Phenomenal reading skill. I mean, they really were outstanding. That was a great treat, for us. Dr. Kraft, thank you for thinking about getting that meeting together. Barry had a lot, he went out and got everything coordinated, but thanks for thinking about, really concentrating on those legislative priorities. I hope we continue having this. I mean, even when they're not in session, we need to put the pressure on them, and so hopefully we can make this an annual thing and show them how much and how important things are, right, in public education. So thanks for getting that together. Also, Stevens High School, that culinary program at Stevens, tremendous. That luncheon today, or that lunch was fantastic. I mean, I've never tasted chicken that moist before. I mean, it was great. Right? Yeah, right? We need that recipe, right? You could cut it with a fork, and the dessert was phenomenal. But, the skills that they're picking up, just tremendous, going out to the hospitality arena, later on down the line. But it was fantastic, and everybody have a happy and blessed holiday season.
I got you. Trustee Salcido?
Yeah, just real quick, just want to express my condolences to James Hare also, like Miss Dr. Duran said. I had a special connection. He was my son's choir teacher up at Clark back in 2008, 2009, something like that. I met him when I first got elected to the board. And, hey, we kind of got Facebook and stuff like that. So his wife, Kelly, works at Sotomayor, where my granddaughter attends too. So, I believe he had like 6 children. So it's a hard time to lose a loved one in the holidays. So I just wanted to express my condolences. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Salcido. Trustee Hart, you had one more?
I just forgot. I know Mr. Fabian said that they were going to perform at 6:30, but because we have so many activities starting like Friday on, so I asked him if I could see, since I already had something Friday, if I could come early. So if anybody else wants to do their dress rehearsal, it's at from 11 to 12 on Thursday at Rayburn, which was my home away from home for many years when I was working in the district. So 11 to 12 Thursday.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Harrell. And I'll do a quick couple items because y'all covered quite a bit. I wanted to thank Bernal Middle School. They had an outstanding multicultural night. It was got there a little bit late, but it was extremely well attended and very well supported. So it's good to see that. Let the board know that we did as Northside. We're part of the Regional State of Education in terms of, and that was great just to see from a collaboration sense. They keep saying the state, it's the first time we've had the four larger chambers, a lot of chambers in San Antonio, but the four larger chambers on the same stage with some of the major businesses in support of legislation for public education. So that was good to see. Zachary Advisory, Cyber Advisory Board, attended the meeting this week. There's something that's very interesting they were doing that the board may want to see as soon as they develop it. They actually take the courses that they have developed, and they'll show how that matches the different high school programs that Northside has. And they actually go the other way, too. So they can talk to elementary school students. They'll relate to the elementary curriculum, too. So it's just good to see that pathway all the way through. And I think they're talking about, I think all the magnet schools may be doing that, but that was just something, or developing that, so something really good that I think the board would be interested in seeing in the future. December 18th, board, remember, we'll be meeting with all the other trustees. This is our Bexar County School Board Coalition. End of the year holiday celebration, so we'll be meeting that particular evening. I think we have about, so far, 15 other school districts in the San Antonio area that will be there. A couple of them actually have board meetings, so there's a lot of interest, and it'd be good to continue our collaboration with the fellow trustees in our area.
What time?
6 o'clock. Don't be late. Okay. Next to the last one I had, we did 8 a.m. Saturday morning. 8 a.m. Saturday morning, we had over 40 teachers for solar car workshop training, and every single one of them successfully built a solar car by the time they left there. So you're talking about some unique things that Northside does that we appreciate. The interesting part of that, separate from that, we actually got I don't know who connected us, maybe somebody in here, superintendent in Chicago had seen, somehow he saw the video about solar cars that we had here, and he was just blown away, and he's from a very prestigious area in Chicago. So we talked to him about the program, how to create it, and he just thought it was totally something new and fascinating to have. And then I don't know if he caught on, hopefully this isn't recorded, but I told him, I said, that's not really, we did that 28 years ago, so we've developed a lot further than that with some of the stuff we had, but they were just blown away by that particular one. So that was an enjoyable conversation. And then I'm going to leave one personal one. And I don't know why, but I'm going to throw this out there. I was going to try to relate it, but I can't do that. So I went and saw Wicked, and some of y'all are probably way ahead of me. I haven't seen it all. But it was just fascinating to me to learn that the Wicked Witch is not so bad, and the Good Witch is not so good. And I'll just leave it at that, all right? And that's all we have. Can't relate that to anything, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
So which witch do you prefer?
Wait for part 2. Anyway. All right, Trustee Harrell.
Yeah, I think the Gravity song is my new theme song. So I wanted to know who the other students in the room are. We have some more.
Oh, we have some other.
Yes.
No, we
they're all
got it.
dressed
We're not
up.
there yet.
We're going to get there.
We're coming? Oh, okay.
We're going to get there
I'm
shortly.
sorry. I just thought they got all dressed up and they probably took a shower and they look so
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Okay. All right.
All right,
It's
now
coming.
that
They've been waiting patiently.
Oh, yeah, they have. Yeah, thank y'all for y'all's patience. You can tell we're enthusiastic about district. They want to tell all the stories, but that completes our board. So we'll go ahead and Dr. Kraft will take us into our next area, which will answer that question for recognitions.
Yeah, I think we've got some really special recognitions tonight. So I will turn this portion of the meeting over to Debbie Rule Schaefer, and we've got, like I say, a couple of CTE program recognitions, but then also a CPS presentation. So, Debbie.
Debbie Schaefer, CTE Director here at Northside, and I want to first, before I start recognitions, I want to say I've already emailed the teacher, the chef at Stevens. I will pass on the rest of them as soon as I get them. I emailed her. I couldn't come up here without having done that. So we are gathered here today. First of all, it's great to see you guys. Thanks for having us, to really celebrate and bring to the attention of everyone in this room a milestone for a group of really hardworking and talented students in Northside. These students have shown an outstanding commitment, skill, determination, and today we're going to recognize them for earning their welding entry-level Certificate 1 from St. Philip's College. The Level 1 welding certificate is no small feat. These students have completed 18 college hours in their welding program of study. It signifies not only technical proficiency in welding, but also a readiness to excel in a highly skilled and in-demand profession. These students have demonstrated the dedication and perseverance necessary to succeed in both their coursework and in their hands-on training. This group of remarkable students will graduate from St. Philip's College and walk the Freeman Coliseum stage this Friday, December the 13th.
And I apologize, Debbie, if the board will join me in front of the dais so we can congratulate these fine individuals and scholars. Congratulations again. That's pretty awesome.
So as you guys are moving forward, I'm going to continue that this achievement would not be possible without the partnership between Northside and St. Philip's College. Together, we're providing students with opportunities to explore career pathways, gain valuable industry certifications, and prepare for bright futures in fields that are essential to our community and our economy. A special thank you to our instructor, Mr. Gerardo Rodriguez, mentors and administrators from both Northside and St. Philip's College who have supported these students every step of the way. Your guidance and encouragement have made this success possible. Now, the stars of the day, our accomplished students. As I call your name, please come forward to be recognized by the board. Mr. Aiden Elizondo. Mr. Sebastian Flores. Mr. Kendall Harrison. Mr. Jaden Shower. Mr. John Trevino. You got it.
Come on, guys. Oh, yeah, picture. We gotta get a photo real quick. Real quick, you guys.
You guys want to get in too? So to our students, the certificate is not just a document. It's a key to new opportunities and a testament to your hard work and talent. Use it as a foundation to build your future, knowing that you have skills, knowledge, and determination to achieve really great things. Not very many high school students can say they graduated from college before they graduated from high school. You should be very proud. We'd also like to ask any family members and of course our teacher to please stand so we can honor you at this time as well. Thank you so much for joining us to celebrate these achievements and these amazing kids. Awesome. Thank you. So it's a big night for CTE. So we are really excited to celebrate one of our amazing educators. She has been recognized as a national winner as a CTE teaching staff. Kathy Green, a Principles of Information Technology teacher at Zachary Cyber Magnet School, has been honored with the 2024 Presidential Cybersecurity Education Award, one of the highest honors bestowed in this area by the U.S. Secretary of Education. This prestigious award recognizes outstanding teachers who have demonstrated exceptional skill in teaching cybersecurity, igniting students' passion in this area. Since 2019, this award has been given to only 2 teachers every year, one at the elementary or middle level and one at the high school level. Green's dedication to fostering the next generation of cybersecurity experts is helping to build a more secure future for everyone. It is my pleasure to present Kathy Green for board recognition. Kathy, please come forward. And if there are any family members or colleagues of Kathy's here tonight to support our honoree, please stand so we can recognize you also. Yes. Thank you so much. It is my honor to now turn the podium over to Jacob Villarreal for our next recognition.
All right, so I'm here to present a check on behalf of CPS to Northside Independent School District. I want to introduce a couple folks. One of them is not here, Mr. Enrique Jimenez, who's our Executive Director of Construction and Engineering, oversees the Energy Management Department. I got Mr. Mike Franco, who is seated right now, Energy Management Coordinator, who oversees the entire Energy Management Department. It has a vital role of conserving energy that includes all of the district scheduling and literally hundreds of functions and events, start and stops of all kinds of systems throughout the district. So Northside has had a long partnership with CPS Energy, and that includes several initiatives to curtail energy consumption, such as equipment rebates and demand response programs. This evening, the district will be presented with a big check, as you can see by Ms. Guerra, for the efforts of the Energy Management Group and for its participation in the Demand Response Program. The Demand Response is a voluntary program held during the summer months, starting from June 1st through September 30th, and not only helps the San Antonio electrical grid, but also helps ERCOT, which is the state grid here in Texas. And this is what powers all of our residents and commercial businesses. So curtailment is the reduction of power consumption, and this particular program, this is occurring during the hours of 4 to 7 p.m. Northside has participated in this program for many years, and each year has increased its participation level due to the support of the leadership and the efforts of the Energy Management Department. This summer, CPS added another opportunity for Northside to participate. ERCOT was experiencing a second peak in 2023, and this year CPS created the term bonus hours, or an option for districts to participate, and this was to relieve the excessive stress on the grid during the hours of 7 to 10, because as you know, that's peak time for here, our San Antonio residents. Our district also joined this option, which resulted in additional rebates of about just over $20,000. And so this combined with the $315,000 that we earned through the demand response program yielded a total rebate of $336,538.45. And that's between those two programs. So tonight I have Robert Olivares with CPS. He's a district key accounts manager, and he's here to present the check totaling the $336,000 to Northside as a result of our participation in the program. So. Yeah, and that concludes our recognitions. Thank you.
So we're going to be going into citizens to be heard in just a second, but this is the portion if the students had to, or anybody else had to go somewhere else, this is where I start talking slowly to allow them to vacate as we get ready for the next agenda item. Yeah, thank you all.
All right, thank you.
You know, while we're transitioning, it's interesting. Those large checks are a lot of fun, but you can't cash them. I tried. Doesn't work.
Dr. Kraft, as a former trustee at CPS Energy, I'm glad y'all bought into this program and it saved the district a lot of money. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
fantastic.
No, you know, we've got a great working relationship with CPS. For those that are not aware, CPS is it is very unique to San Antonio, and while you know we all work to conserve energy, I can tell you in conversations with Rudy Garza, they truly care about the community and ensuring that not only do we have power, but also that no one goes without. And I've just come to learn that it's a unique power entity that cares for over 2 million customers. And so I appreciate, like I say, our relationship with CPS and anything we can do to help shed load off the grid, we're going to, because it's a team effort. So,
good.
Absolutely.
Good. All right. Thank you, Dr. Kraft. So we'll go ahead now and transition over to our citizens to be heard. First of all, we believe citizens to be heard is important and meaningful, and we'll listen to what you have to say. And we value your opinions, and I'll emphasize this part, though we are restrained by law from taking any action, okay? We do ask that you address your remarks to the board at the confine your remarks to an NISD policy or practice, and again, you're going to be addressing from the podium. Limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and what we'll do is we have a couple of resources to help out there. At 3 minutes, you'll be asked to wrap up, but the clock will be displayed as well as our board secretary. We'll hold up the yellow card when there's 1 minute left, and then when that time is wrapped up, we'll hold up the red card. So I think we have 6 citizens, so the
Believe
board
so.
knows.
Yes,
and
yes, sir.
We don't have anybody for a specific agenda item, right? They're all citizens to be heard?
They're all citizens to be heard.
Okay.
Let me
make sure.
Just double check. The first individual signed up is Marcella Hernandez. And yes, they're all citizens to be heard.
Hi, good evening. My name is Marcela Hernandez, and I'm a freshman at UTSA majoring in Mexican American Studies. I serve as president of the Mexican American Studies student organization, MASO, at UTSA, and I'm here today as a proud product of NISD, graduating from John Marshall Law Medical Services. I spoke at the school board meeting in October of this year expressing my desire that NISD schools have Cesar Chavez's birthday as a school holiday for faculty and students in remembrance of the immense role he played in history. Cesar Chavez was a champion for civil rights, co-founding the United Farm Workers with Dolores Huerta. He fought for the rights of farm workers, Mexican Americans, Chicanos, and other members of the community. His influence goes beyond impacting those in California. Chavez is not just a California activist. His efforts and fight for social justice is reflected in Texas. The community organization Chavez demonstrated in California snowballed into our state. He showed solidarity with Texans, speaking at protests and marches. His biggest event in Texas was on September 5th, 1966, when he and other farm workers completed a 400-plus mile march from the valley to Austin. This march demanded a $1.25 minimum wage for farm workers in Texas. In addition to the marches Chavez led, he spoke at the Texas AFL-CIO conference in Austin, again showing his solidarity with those in our community. Our city has demonstrated its deep respect and appreciation of the legacy for the legacy of Cesar Chavez through annual events like the Chavez March held every spring. San Antonio has honored Chavez with a street named after him, and March 31st, his birthday, is recognized as an official city holiday. These actions serve as powerful reminders of the ongoing fight for labor rights and social justice. They showcase how our community comes together to remember his contributions. Last year, I spoke at the Alamo College Board of Trustees meeting advocating for a school holiday on March 31st in remembrance of Cesar Chavez. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with a unanimous vote in favor of establishing the holiday. I am here today to encourage the members of this school board to take a similar stand. As leaders of NISD, you represent not only the students within your district, but a community that has consistently shown its appreciation for Cesar Chavez's work. With almost 68% of NISD's school student body being Latino, many are directly influenced by the struggles and victories Chavez fought for. By formally recognizing March 31st as a school holiday, NISD would not only further solidify its commitment to honoring his legacy, but also set an example for inclusivity and cultural pride for students and families. This holiday would have an immense positive impact, not only within the district, but throughout San Antonio. It would demonstrate that NISD stands as a pillar of support for the values of justice, equality, and dignity that Chavez championed, a message that resonates deeply within the heart of our city. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Next signed up is Veronica Hernandez.
Okay. So, good evening. It's hard to come after Marcela because that amazing human is my daughter.
Oh.
And the reason I stand before you and came into this room to begin with because Dr. Harrell had posted a picture of the report of a year-long research project with IDRA that was introduced by Moss at Marshall High School. And so I didn't know a school board existed because Marcela had been in a private school setting all this year. So, but okay, so I'm not a public speaker. Here we go. So, good evening, members of the school board, educators, and community members. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak today. So I'm here as a proud mama of 3. My 2 youngest are at Leon Valley Elementary, and Marcela is a graduate of Marshall High School. of 2024, or so she graduated in June. So my eldest, Marcela, was in the private school sector. So came to Marshall High School and is now graduated top 1% and is now attending UTSA as a MAS major with a full ride of scholarships, among one of them given from CCLEF. So the village at Marshall High School introduced Marcela to MAS, which was a Mexican American Studies Student Association. And the first event that she attended was the 50th anniversary conference for La Raza Unida. And that was the first of many events that I have had the privilege to accompany her with. So today I want to advocate for the recognition of March 31st as a school holiday of Cesar Chavez, a man whose life and work continue to inspire countless individuals, particularly within the Latino community, which represents 67% of the student population in the school district. So who is Cesar Chavez? You know, not a lot. It's sad. It saddens me. You know, I myself didn't know a whole lot, and I've learned so much because of the opportunities presented by Northside. So Cesar Chavez was not just a labor leader, he was a champion of dignity, equality, and social justice. As the co-founder of the United Farm Workers, he dedicated his life to ensuring fair treatment for farm workers, many of whom faced exploitations, unsafe working conditions, and economic despair. His principles of nonviolence, his emphasis on education, and his commitment to empowering marginalized communities make him an American hero worthy of recognition. So acknowledging of cultural heritage and empowering of students. For our Latino students, seeing their history, culture, and contributions reflected in the school calendar is profoundly empowering. I've seen it firsthand with Marcela. It's connected our culture, our family, through events, art exhibits, you know, her writing a book, writing a poem, just so many things have stemmed from that. Entering Mr. G's classroom, Mexican American Studies class offered at Northside. So I will end with this.
Okay.
Oh, may I?
Yeah, well, go ahead. Yeah.
In the words of Cesar Chavez himself, preservation of one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures. Let us honor his legacy and provide our students with a meaningful connection to their heritage and the ideas of social justice that he so passionately pursued. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so, if I can, again, remember the board can't discuss or dialogue, but we can clarify. So we know you came in. We know you came in October time period. The board at least has begun a dialogue where we're looking at how we do our holidays, what holidays we have, how we do our calendar, and those type of things. And know about the request. So I do want you to know that part of it, that at least the process of discussion has begun in general in that particular regard. Okay?
Yes, sir. And to clarify, that'll be part of our next policy committee meeting.
Right.
It's on the agenda already.
Okay.
Next signed up is.
Not responding to that, but if I wish I was listening too much, too intently, but if you could have seen your mother's face while you were presenting, and if you could have seen your daughter's face, oh my gosh, it was magical. So thank you.
Next signed up, we have Ernest Martinez.
Good evening, Superintendent Kraft, Chairman Blount, and trustees of the Northside Independent School District. My name is Ernest J. Martinez. I'm a graduate of John Marshall High School, class of 1986. Go Rams. I'm a business owner, homeowner and taxpayer, and lifelong resident in Northside Independent School District. When I'm not serving my clients, I serve as chairman of the Cesar E. Chavez Legacy Educational Foundation, also known as CCLEF, which is a 100% volunteer-led 501c3 organization whose mission, our mission, is to preserve the life and legacy of Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. And we do it through community and educational outreach. I also serve on the board of directors of the California-based Cesar Chavez Foundation that was founded by Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Richard Chavez in 1966. I'm here today to support one of our scholarship recipients, Marcela Hernandez, and the Moss students' effort to have Northside Independent School District recognize Cesar Chavez with an official holiday. Our mayor, Ron Nierenberg, and the City Council of San Antonio passed the paid holiday in 2021, and the Alamo Colleges passed it with unanimous support in 2023. And I really believe it's long overdue that we recognize Cesar Chavez in a public school system like Northside, which is represented by 70% of Latinos, Hispanics, Chicanos in our district. So when I think about Cesar Chavez, it's real easy to think about, yes, all of the great accomplishments that he was able to achieve. But I always remind people that the next time you sit down for a meal, the next time you walk into your local grocery store and go through the produce department, look around and look at those fruits and vegetables. All that produce doesn't magically appear on the shelves. It comes from stoop labor, from sun up to sundown, hard labor. And here we are in the holidays, breaking bread with our familia. Remember the farm workers, because that's who Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta advocated for, often referred to as the forgotten people. So when I think about Cesar Chavez, I also think about a quote that's very profound. We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes as well as for our own. En el spirit of la causa, si se puede.
Thank you.
Next registered is Anthony Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Gonzalez. I teach at John Marshall High School. I teach Mexican American Studies, and I'm also on the board for CCLEF. I didn't know there was going to be so many Rams here tonight. Mr. Fabian is one of my former students, so that's always shocking. But I'm also here to talk about the Cesar Chavez holiday for Northside. I know that it is. We've had a lot of representation here tonight speaking about the holiday. But one thing that I want to bring up as an educator, and all of us obviously have a vested interest in education, when we talk about civil rights and social justice in a U.S. history class, it's mostly through the African American lens and the struggle of Black Americans in the United States. And so I just want to take the opportunity to speak about the educational struggles of Mexican Americans in the United States and why recognizing our leaders is important. So, prior to the Civil Rights Movement, Black Americans attended college at about 10% of their population, which I think as educators we can all recognize that we would like those numbers to be higher. In comparison, just to give you some context, for Mexican Americans, we only went to college at 2% of our population. Here in San Antonio, it was even worse. Only 1% of Mexican Americans attended college prior to 1968. And in San Antonio, only 50% of Mexican Americans made it past the 5th grade. That's something that is not mentioned in a U.S. history class. And what is also not mentioned are the student protests in 1968 in California by the students, where they walked out in protest of second citizen treatment in their schools. That's something that is forgotten. And it's something that's not spoken about. But when those students walked out of their classrooms and they protested for the right to be educated, they held signs of the United Farm Workers Eagle, the organization created by Cesar Chavez in 1965. Cesar Chavez gave our people a voice. He taught us how to organize, that we deserve better. And I think it's important that our students understand and recognize the importance of Cesar Chavez. So I never worked in the fields. My dad did. He picked cotton in West Texas so that he could afford school supplies and school clothes for the new school year. But it's important that we remember the people that put our food on our table, that do that work, and it's important that we understand the contributions that Cesar Chavez had here in San Antonio, in Texas. And something else that I also think is important, I'll finish up with this, Obviously, we celebrate Martin Luther King every single year here in Northside. I think it's important to point out that Martin Luther King's reach goes further than the South. Martin Luther King never marched in Texas. He never marched in San Antonio, but he affected the community here in San Antonio, and Cesar Chavez did the same. Thank you.
Next registered is, I believe, is Lineto Frosto.
Good evening, Dr. Kraft. Good evening, board members. My name is Lynette Frauso. I'm not a Northside product. I was 17 years old already when I had already graduated high school when my siblings and I moved to the United States with my mom and my stepfather, who was serving in the Army in Panama. I had been a Northside resident for over 25 years, and I have seen the huge growth in the north side, northwest side of the city, and the demand for new schools and the resources that opening a new school requires. I have been a teacher the past 20 years, and the last 10 years serving this district as a middle school math teacher. My son, Hector Frausto, graduated last year and is now attending UT Austin, majoring in public health and public relations, and considering a minor in business. And if you've met him, it's not surprise. My daughter, Laura Frausto, is a junior in high school. Both of my kids have experienced many, many highs and some lows as Northside students, but every single one of those experiences have taught them lessons in resilience and perseverance. They both have been part of so many extracurriculum activities, both at the campus level, district, and some state levels. I have experienced Northside as a resident, as a teacher, and as a parent. I have seen the good and the bad. There's some. This is my third time attending a board meeting, and I have to tell you that I have learned so much takes place to run a district like Northside. It's not always going to be perfect. There is no way to make everybody happy 100% of the time. But for what I've seen, every single one of you try your best to do what is right for our community and, most important, for our students. Today I'm here as a representative of TCTA, Texas Classroom Teacher Association. I have been the president for Northside CTA affiliate for the past 4 years. Today I'm here to ask you that as you make decisions to do what is right for our most important customers, our students, that you should also take steps in protecting one of your most important resources, your teachers, those of us in the classroom taking care of the students. When the last bell of the day rings, there are so many of us that we don't go home and relax. We go home, we take care of our families, and then get back to work in the evenings doing lesson plans, grading papers, sending emails to students and parents before we go to bed. We care for our students, and we do what it takes to give them the best that we can. We give so much of our time to this job because we care for our students, but sometimes we don't feel appreciated for the work that we do. Many times we feel forgotten and just taken for granted. Please continue advocating for the adequate funding of public education that includes an across-the-board pay raise for school personnel, funding that will adjust for inflation and protection of public funds by opposing any voucher efforts, ensure that the necessary resources are available to keep classrooms and campuses safe, support teachers by limiting...
You have to wrap up now.
Okay, sorry. I just want to go ahead and say thank you for your time and for the work that you do to make Northside the best place to work, the best place to get an education, and thank you for making me proud to be part of the Northside family.
Thank you. Did you attend Balboa High School?
Yes, I did.
I'll talk to you later.
That's what
Melina Esperita Azakar.
Good Good evening. I'm Melina Espiritu Azocar, proud president of Northside AFT. We are the only local labor union representing the employees of Northside. And we're also affiliated with the AFL-CIO that Marcela spoke about earlier. I'm here tonight to stand in solidarity with these amazing young people, organizing and advocating for a Cesar Chavez holiday in Northside ISD. When students call you and ask for support, you support them. A day to honor a leader whose work has shaped our nation, our state, and our community. As a labor leader myself, I am proud to stand in solidarity with students that understand the importance of fighting for what they believe in and representation in a district that belongs to our community, a community made up of students of color and working families. Cesar Chavez was not just a labor leader. He was a champion for justice and dignity. Through the United Farm Workers, which he co-founded, Chavez fought tirelessly for fair wages, safe working conditions, and respect for the farm workers who feed our nation. We fight for much of the same things as a labor union here. Here in Texas, his legacy is profound. He brought attention to the struggles of Mexican American and migrant communities, pushing for civil rights, political representation, and environmental justice. His work exemplifies the values we hold dear in public education: equity, opportunity, and empowerment. A Cesar Chavez holiday would inspire our students to recognize the importance of unity, advocacy, and civil engagement, which is very important. It would remind us all that collective action, whether in labor movements, schools, or our communities, creates lasting change. Chavez's connection to Texas is significant. He organized boycotts, led marches, and worked tirelessly to uplift the voices of the underserved. His legacy lives in our neighborhoods and in the fight for workers' rights. Recognizing his contributions with a district-wide holiday would honor not only his impact, but the values he stood for, values that align deeply with our mission as educators and advocates. A holiday in Chavez's name would celebrate the diversity and strength of our community while teaching students the importance of resilience and leadership. Let's take this step together. Let's honor Cesar Chavez, support the legacy of organized labor, and show our students what it means to fight for a better and fairer world. Thank you.
I believe the last individual we have signed up is Arturo Rodriguez.
Good evening, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak here this evening. I want to continue everything that's already been said about Cesar Chavez and the importance, and we're very happy to hear that the board is considering how to do this and how to make it happen. I am president emeritus of the United Farm Workers. I'm born and raised here in San Antonio, and I became aware of Cesar Chavez in 1966 when I was going to high school at that particular time. And our parish priest, Father Marvin Derfler, went down to the Rio Grande Valley when Cesar did his first strike here in Texas, in the Melons. And he, along with many other priests here from the Archdiocese of San Antonio, went down there, and during that particular period, they saw the abuse that was taking place of the farm workers that were on strike. And Cesar asked him, well, are you willing to stand up and go to jail, be arrested and go to jail in support of the farm workers? And they said yes. And so Father Derfler came back. I didn't even know at the time he was an activist, but he came back and he shared with us everything that Cesar was doing. And he said, this is the right thing. This is a good thing. This is Christian. This is what we should all be doing and supporting. And so as a result, I went on to St. Mary's University, graduated from there. And at University of Michigan, I joined, after I graduated from there, joined the United Farm Workers full-time and served there for the last 45 years. When Cesar passed away in 1993, I was elected president of the organization and served in that position for 25 years. My wife and I decided upon retirement in 2018 to come back to San Antonio, because she's from here as well, and to continue to support the work and do it. I still work part-time for the organization. And so I think it's extremely relevant, Cesar's presence here in San Antonio, in Texas, and so forth. 3 of the executive board members of the United Farm Workers are here from San Antonio, living here right now. Rebecca Flores was the first director of the United Farm Workers back in in the 60s here in Texas. And then Juanita Valdez Cox is the woman that succeeded her. So as a result, we continue to ask you that. The Cesar Chavez Foundation, which I also serve on that particular board, they are very much involved here in San Antonio. We have a number of affordable housing projects as one of the programs that they've done. We invite you to come and visit them anytime just to see what they've done there, what they've done here in San Antonio to really provide for affordable housing and make it very convenient for folks. In addition, we have educational programs, and we're now planning for the centennial celebration of Cesar Chavez, which San Antonio will be a major part of in 2027. So thank you very much for your consideration. And as Cesar Chavez would say, sí se puede. Thank you.
Okay, that completes our Citizens to be Heard, and thank you all for bringing these items before us. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll go into our consent agenda. Is there a motion to come for the board on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by stating Trustee Freeman?
Yes, Mr. Blunt, if
Don't
I
say
just
that.
make comment, I don't want to pull an item, but item number, and I forget that this new laptop we were given, it does not have touch screen, so I'm trying to figure out how to move it. I think it's item number G. Somebody help me with Esparza.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
Exterior, interior colors, yeah.
Thank you. So the boards are in Dr. Kraft's office. I hope everybody had an opportunity to look at them. One thing we did ask in building committee, because we're changing where the parent drop-off is, we asked that the staff actually our staff talk to the staff at the school to find out how they would like that to look.
Yeah.
So with cues for.
Yeah, we'll color code the pillars in association with what is in existence. And I believe we probably have already done that, Jacob.
Yeah, we were going to coordinate with administration first and see if they wanted placards or something else, or we could color code them.
Yeah.
They would be primary colors, so things that we've traditionally done.
We'll ensure, like I say, for logistics with drop-off, pickup.
Sure, it didn't appear on the boards, and the building committee just wanted to bring that forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for taking care of that.
Okay, good. Any other further comments, questions? All right, if not, it's been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed, state nay. Good. Motion carries. Next, we'll go into our facilities and operations area.
All right, I'm back. All right, so this first item that we have for presentation today to the board is the construction manager at risk for the fine arts replacement at Clark High School. The 22 bond program provided for a fine arts replacement at Tom C. Clark High School. The first phase of the construction delivery method is the solicitation of the construction manager and establishing the fees for the service, which are based off the percentage of construction cost. All final construction drawings are delivered, and a GMP, or guaranteed maximum price, is determined by the contractor and reviewed by the district and consultants. Any cost savings realized after construction is completed are returned 100% to the district. Requests for competitive sealed proposals for construction manager at risk were received on November 19th, 2024. The request here is for the approval of the award of the contract for the construction manager at risk delivery method for the fine arts replacement at Tom C. Clark to Bartley Koch as per the attached documents that you have. The anticipated percentage is 5.68%, which is comprised of the cost of general conditions and the contractor's fee. So the final GMP figures are anticipated to be established in the fall of 2025. So here, representing the architect, I have Alamo Architects, represented by Glenn and Mr. Lammers. And then I also have a representative from Bartley Cock, Mr. James Caraway, that's here. So if you have any questions, we can certainly entertain those.
Okay, and I know this went before the building committee earlier last week, or whatever that means. Any comments or questions from the board or from the building committee? Okay. Is there a no comments or questions? Is there a motion to come before the board? Trustee Freeman.
Mr. Blunt, I would move approval.
All right. Second. All right. We have a motion and a second from David. Thank you, David. Any further discussion? Okay. If not, it's been moved and second to approve the construction manager at risk as presented. All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed, state nay. Good. Motion carries.
Thank you. So the next item I have here is the schematic design for the building upgrades at John Jay SCA High School. This item is a part of the 22 bond program. It provided for building upgrades related to classroom, CTE, laboratory spaces at John Jay and SCA. A schematic design has been developed by the architect consistent with the previously approved master plan, and schematic design is ready for presentation. I will add that this schematic design was developed with a lot of collaboration between John Jay administration, SEA. We engaged students at the request of Dr. Harrell and department heads to determine the stages and the options that that were presented to the building committee, ultimately being presented here to the board. And so with that being said, we are seeking approval for the schematic design. I have Alamo Architects here. Mr. Lammers will be presenting it. I also have a representative from Joris, Mr. Galt Robertson, if we can answer any questions upon the completion of the presentation. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Lammers.
Thank you, Jacob. As Jacob said, we're here to present the schematic design. Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Kraft. And I just want to reiterate what he said is we had a very intensive stakeholder group meetings. Basically, we've been meeting weekly for the last 6 weeks. It included students, multiple staff members from the campus itself, and of course the SEA principal and assistant. Just want to go through our plan. I'm going to talk a little bit about the existing campus. I'm going to point to the screen over here. So next slide. So Jay, well, of course, is on Marbach Road. It was originally built in 67 to 68. The main classroom wing is here. The entrance is off center here. It's was built around a courtyard with a cafeteria, the athletics in the back. And then the latest addition is the Fine Arts, which opened earlier this year. Our project is the SEA, which is the Science Engineering Academy, CTE, Career Technology Education, and JROTC replacement. So the existing CTE is here and the existing ROTC here, and then the bus loop is here. Next slide. So we looked at every single space within the campus. We actually went and checked it here in the last month to make sure that where things had changed, we were up to date. I'm not going to go through every space. I want to point out a couple of things. The main entrance is here at the bottom, and it was 20 years ago, the original admin was moved to the back where the library was, and now the front is the counseling area. And so you come through here now. When it was first built, you could go through any entrance, but now with security measures, that's been restricted. The SEA admin is here, and of course, everything you see here in green, that's CTE, and then the red color here, that's ROTC. Where you see this kind of green-blue color, that's SEA. So one of the points I want to make is that SEA is spread out all over the campus right now. There's not one hub for the SEA. Next slide, please. And on the second floor, it's mostly classrooms, and there are 2 science classrooms, but again, the SEA is spread about the campus. Next slide. Next slide, Monica. So we were here several months ago where we presented the concept design, which is basically a building addition, and then there was some underutilized classrooms within the building. So the project really transitioned from a large addition to a smaller, still significant addition and renovation. We brought that before the board in June. And next slide. And one of the things we were asked to look at was as an alternate, because it's not included in the bond, what would it take to move the admin to the front of the campus from where its current location is, which is more to the center location? So we're going to talk about that again today. It's an add alternate to our project, which would be beyond the current budget. Next slide. Okay, so now we're looking at the schematic design proposal. This is the site plan, and the thing to point out is a significant addition here on the right. We are going to renovate the auto shop in its current location, taking over some classrooms that are adjacent to it, so expanding it into those classrooms and then moving the collision over here. The main entrance is going to stay in the base bid where it is, but we will add a security check-in at that location, and the SEA will be renovated in its place. Next slide. So this is a blow-up of the plans, and I'm going to go through several of these. The main entry is here. We're going to propose, as part of the base bid, a redo of the covered walk area, kind of a smaller scale and a larger scale as an add alternate. As I mentioned, a secure vestibule that will have a typical bullet-resistant construction that you can check in the front. And then moving over to the SEA, we're going to expand into the area that is currently the entryway, which is no longer used as an entryway because now everyone has to check in here, and expand the SEA offices into that space. That will become the reception area, then conference room and offices in a typical admin arrangement. One of the things we're going to do is, within the area that we're working, is renovate all the restrooms in those areas, because some of them haven't been renovated in quite some time. So that will be included as part of our project. So from here, and one thing I'd like to point out in the bottom right-hand corner of your drawings, there is a key, so you can follow along where I'm going. Next slide, please. So then we're moving to the back, and as I mentioned, the collision shop will move over here after the original CTE building will be torn down. We're going to expand into what were 6 classrooms in the front. So we'll have a district standard auto shop, a district standard collision shop. And one of the requests from the campus is that there's no public restrooms for the athletics right now. And so the auto shop was slightly oversized, so we carved out the corner, and they'll be similar to there is at Sotomayor, and I believe Harlan is the same, has the same facility. There's 2 single-use restrooms off a small corridor that will be used by the athletic facilities after hours when visitors are here. Next slide, please. And stop me if you have any questions about any of the layouts or anything. I'm going fairly quickly. So this is the addition, and the first floor of it is all CTE space. So everything you see to the right is new construction. Coming from the bus canopy, the first thing that is off the plan is the cosmetology lab, and that's really so that patrons who want to get their hair cut or nails done after hours, they'll have a direct entry into the building, and that has its adjacent classroom. And then the rest of the core of this is really the culinary arts and intro to culinary arts. So these facilities are laid out exactly as they would be in terms of size and function as they are in the new high school. So in the culinary arts lab, you have an adjacent classroom, then the dining room, then there's an intro to culinary arts and an intro to culinary arts lab. And then on the north side of this corridor is the construction technology and the architecture lab. And that, we have a 2-story building, but it's designed in such a way that the construction extends beyond the second floor, so they will have an upper floor or a 1.5 story space so beyond this line right here. Moving on to the second floor, unless there's any questions. So this is really the focus of our work for the SEA, is with the ROTC gone, we're going to move them to the center of the campus and then create a hub for the SEA in the center of the campus. So the Science and Engineering Academy, now when you come in the campus, you go up the stairs, it's right there. You're not going to go down all the way down the hall. It's right at the center of the campus. And then the second floor of the addition will also be CTE functions. So next slide, please. So this is the front door. We're looking at the second floor. The stairs are here. When you come up is the ROTC. Now, I forgot to mention that in the site plan, the ROTC marching pad is just at the bottom of the stairs. So they'll be able to come down the stairs here, go out, and then the marching pad is right there. And then, as I mentioned, this is all the SEA. So we have our series of engineering labs and their fabrication labs, the computer classrooms, all located along this bottom edge facing the front of the school. And they're arranged around the collaborative robotics arena. And that's where they have their robotics competitions. And we're going to do something special with that space. So, and we'll bring it back when we have the interior colors. So that is obviously the hub of the SEA. And then across from the collaborative space is another robotics fab lab and a computer classroom. So we're bringing all the SEA together. There's another science lab here. So there's 3 science labs along the bottom, and the rest of their support spaces here. So next slide. And then in the center of the building are what is now the edge of the existing building. That's all, those existing classrooms are going to remain as they are. We will redo the corridors as part of our work to update them. But the second floor of the CTE then is the more lighter use as CTE items. So you have business management, family consumer science, fashion, food science, the animation, its studio. Now, one thing we did at Sotomayor, which we talked about doing here, is the studio actually has glass in it. It's a green room, so kids who can walk by, they can see people who are, you know, making videos and that kinds of thing. And then along the bottom is the family consumer science education, and then the health lab suites, which is the health lab and 2 science, health science classrooms. We're also renovating the classroom, the restrooms here. One of the things we're going to make sure we do is have an oversized elevator, because we'll be carrying stuff upstairs that a normal elevator wouldn't do. So we'll have a larger elevator to bring anything that needs to be brought over to the SCA Academy in that elevator. All right, so before I move on, are there any questions about the plans?
Trustee Harrell?
Just real quick, I know, thank you for adding the student voice to this. What were some of the things the students shared? Do you remember?
I mean, they had a lot of great ideas. One of the things they talked about was having a place that was identifiable as the SEA Academy. And that's one of the things they really brought to the table, because as you could see, they were spread all around. And so the team made a great effort to try to consolidate that stuff. They wanted to be integrated with the rest of the school, because they take classes, you know, obviously the extracurricular activities and things like that they're just part of J, so there was that concern too. Jacob, I don't know if you.
No, that was a majority, is identity. They wanted to make sure that there was that marketability for more students to come and apply for the SEA Academy. And so that's what they really wanted. They wanted the visibility. And so they were instrumental in us kind of trying to play with different locations of where SEA would reside, whether it be at the end, anchor the end. But then we settled on the middle, just so that when you come into that space, you got John Jay, and you can go John Jay, you can go SEA, but everything is right there together. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the exterior. Oh, and this is the ad alternate. So one of the things I mentioned is we were asked to look at what it would take to bring the admin to the front of the campus. So instead of having 2 doors, you have one central location. This is kind of typical that a new high school would have. You would have the security vestibule on one side, you would have the comprehensive high school administration, and on the other side, you would have the SEA administration. So as you come in the door, they would be on either side. And what we were proposing is that, just as you have at some of your other high schools, there would be overhead doors there so that the reception area really spills out into the corridors. Now, in visiting with the staff, they want to talk to us about the location of these doors and whether that room should be a little larger and more welcoming, but we're going to work through that. But the big idea is that this, the admin is moved up, and then we would move the counseling to the back. Now, it's already set up as a suite of offices, so it would take relatively little renovation to make that work. It would really just be new carpet and paint and ceilings.
You got one question, Trustee Duran?
No, I just wanted to like compliment the importance of this, the admin offices in the front. This is really a safety and security issue when we would have parents and all of that. It just helps the state to keep this parents in the front of the school, not throughout the entire campus.
Yes,
So
that's,
thank you.
I mean, right now, they would check in this door, and then if they're going to the admin, then they come across the, across the common area there. But this is an ad alternate, not necessarily part of the base bond project, and where we are is we're going to see how much it costs and then bring that back to you. All right, so now let's talk about the exterior design. So this is the existing J. We're looking over Marbach Road. That's the new auditorium there on the left. And then this white patch is the location of the new addition. And then these buildings that we have grayed out, those will be torn down. Next slide, Monica. Just looking at the architecture that's there now with the recent addition, we introduced this kind of dark brown or chocolate colored brick in the latest edition, and we intend to use that in the new construction as well. This original covered walk and main entry, it was done 23 years ago, but at the time it was done, there are two main entries, and it unfortunately was focused on the wrong one. The main entry's over there now, so all the energy for the entryway is misplaced. And then the library has its own distinct, all of the roofs have this splayed canopy on these columns. So one of the things we wanted to look at was how could we integrate that into the new design? All right, Monica. So this is the long elevation, and then I've got three-dimensional drawings for you to look at, but just going from the left to the right, we have the new auditorium, and then we're proposing a new base bid entryway that takes down that canopy and redirects the energy or the entryway to where the actual security check-in is, and then to rebrand or replace the brick in the front and add a little of that brown brick to add a little contrast. This is the addition, and it's CTE, and just picking up on the kind of rhythm and architecture of the existing building, which is these vertical windows with the sunshade, is to do that same or similar idea here, but expand them, make the windows larger, more welcoming, still have the sunshade, introducing the blue similar to the blue at the auditorium, and then introducing the brown brick to help break down the size of that building. Next slide, please. And this is the long 3D drawing that shows the addition. Next slide. And this is the new base bid entry. So we have a canopy here with the John Jay on top. It's got a similar shape as the other canopies, and then the brick columns, and then really accentuating the John Jay Engineering Academy. Now there's some crepe myrtles here. There's a sign there now. You can't see it because the crepe myrtles are so large. So we would take the two down there and then leave the planters, but plant something lower there and replace. All this is new, so that brick would be new, and it's like a new branding of the front. And then next slide. And so this is a close-up of the new addition. The library is right here. That shows you the rhythm of this existing building, and then we're picking up on those dual windows and wrapping it around the corner and introducing the dark colored brick with the existing color brick to add a little contrast to it. Now we have two ad alternates for the front. So when we met with the building committee, we have an ad alternate. We had a canopy, and one of the desires, I think, was to have a monumental entry, just completely redo the front entry. And that went along with the admin for doing the admin as part of that ad alternate. But the question was asked, could we do it even if we did the base bid, and what would that look like? So I'm going to show you those two options. So the first one is if it's full admin, and the idea is that you have a monumental entry with these large brick columns. It's focused in the middle. That's where the entry would be. We put the John Jay on top. We have a place for the sign on this side for the Science and Engineering Academy. If there's another academy that is at the campus, there's space for that in the future. And then let's look at it in 3D. So this is it now, I mean, with the add alternate, it is just impactful. I mean, that's the only way I can say it is. It really would change the campus, and it would focus the main entry here in the middle. We would reskin this part of the building, because we're redoing all these rooms on the inside already as engineering classrooms. So they would get all new windows you'd be able to see out, and redo these are currently counselors' offices, but if they were to change to admin offices, then that would be the reception areas and the supports. We have the same brick benches that we have at the auditorium, and I think everybody liked this. Then the next question was, well, what if we took that idea and just kept the base bid? So we worked up a scheme for that. It's very similar. The solution really adds a bay to get you to that side entry. That's really the most significant change. So, and we did it so, set it up so in the future, if the admin is done, you could keep this and just move that entry over. It would just go in the middle, basically. So, next slide. So this is it for the base bid. If we choose this, just the canopy as an out alternate, we are bringing that entry up because it's kind of tucked behind the corner. So we would pull that entry up so that it's flush with the front. You can see that wall back there. That's really, so you're not walking around the corner to it. So now you can see it when you come in, and in the future, if the admin's redone, that would become a conference room or something that could have some prominence. I mean, we would make sure that that space is reusable if this scheme is selected. So next slide, and then we'll bring up the summary, and I'm open to discussion and questions.
I guess one question I have, does the board need to decide which of the alternatives? Is there a recommendation, or?
Yeah, there's a recommendation.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Jerry's Jacob, if you don't mind, Jerry is very innovative, very intuitive, probably one of the best architects from a thinking standpoint, analysis standpoint I've had the opportunity to work with. So I would recommend that we pursue a more prominent entrance, as well as trying to knock out the administrative suite, even though there's going to be additional cost. We're going to be in there. We're going to be disruptive. And so my recommendation is to pursue the administrative suite, the alternative entrance that is very prominent, and then obviously the SEA, CTE, and ROTC renovation work.
Any comments, questions from the board? Trustee Hall?
So I'm not sure which one that is. So
It would be this entry.
So I'm glad. What I like about that is I want to go back to the students kind of wanting their own identity, versus there was a version where it looked like it would be almost all one word, Science and Engineering Academy and John Jay Early College High School or something like that, versus it looks like it's got its own prominent wall.
Yes.
And then the left side, if we go that route with the early college, that would be, they might even have a different color. I know like Cassidy's is purple and they have a little bit of different something or other.
different logo.
Yeah, a different logo, thank you. And then that would give identity to it with this prominence, so.
Yes.
I echo that, but I think you said it was a little more expensive.
It's going to be a little bit more expensive. I think that as we look at the 2022 bond program, we're going to have to be really thoughtful and intentional I think that there are some projects in the 2022 bond project that we're going to need to probably come back and revisit and determine whether or not those are really wise investments, which will be future conversations and not to be. We're going to have to look at some of our campuses that, as other school districts across the state, across the nation are, you know, do we look at some consolidations, or do we look at investing, i.e. upwards of $40 million into a campus renovation that serves 286 students? And so those are projects that are incorporated in the 2022 bond right now that I think those are going to be future conversations that we're going to have. I think that John Jay, with the addition of an early college high school, as we're already experiencing and seeing numbers, it will be large.
I also echo that we need that prominence for safety, security, and accessibility for the parents to come in. If that were a conference room, to be in the front, not having to go through the school. Oftentimes we would be standing in the hall and there'd be like adults, and I'm like, are they students? Like, what are, you know what I'm saying? So they need to stay in the front. So I love that idea of the conference area and a very prominent area for safety and visibility. And now that it'll be an early college campus, to your point, we need that space, but also we're growing at John Jay, so it would be an investment.
Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I think she'll go next.
Dr. Ron, to your point, I would anticipate John Jay would probably within 3 to 4 years will be over 3,000 students with the early college high school edition.
Okay. Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, we talked about this at building committee, and I guess I misunderstood what we were looking at for this particular meeting. Since we haven't talked about efficiencies yet regarding the 2022 bond, the approval tonight, then, are we looking at the base bid plus the alternate, and then whatever those bids come at, then we look at that and we'll have had the other conversation so we could see where we are.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think the way we would need to, I think that we need to go, the way we need to go about this particular project, while a little bit complicated, I think we need to go about the base bid. I think we need to go about looking at the base bid with the administrative suite alternate, and then another alternate with the base bid, office suite, and the alternate entrance. That's what I'm suggesting. Let's look at pricing, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I that's what I thought we had, but I wasn't sure where the conversation was going. I too like the prominent entrance, and I think it also adds to the fact that science and engineering, Science and Engineering, and early college, they're all John Jay High School students, and I think that's important too. That it's not a separate magnet unto its own. All these kids are all part of John Jay. I think that's important.
Can I clarify that, and then I'll come back? What the name of the school is now, and I'll tell you why. Because we started was Science and Engineering Academy, and then somewhere transitioned where it became the John Jay Science and Engineering Academy. And I've heard everybody throw it that way, but that's not what that says per se. What are we actually calling the Science and Engineering Academy now?
John Jay Science and Engineering Academy.
Okay, so should that be in the name then? Because that just says Science and Engineering Academy.
It could be.
Yeah, we could
But
add that.
is it-
I mean, that.
I don't know. I'm just, well, I don't usually
Right, I
do
mean,
that part of it, but.
We could easily put John Jay and scoot that down, and so
Okay.
it would be stacked.
I just want to be consistent with whatever the school is officially called. No, we do not do that with any other school. There's no other high school, because communications arts, you've got construction career, you don't put the high school name before it. Insight is now just Insight. I've never seen the homes put before it anymore. It's a change, et cetera. So this is the only, that may be the only other, law.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But anyway, long as it's consistent with what the school says, I don't, whatever y'all, that's the thing I was saying. Okay. Thank you. Trustee Saldana?
Are you asking for approval without us knowing the actual cost?
You'll have the GMP for approval. You will have to approve the GMP. There will be basically 3 GMPs that will be forthcoming. The first one will be the, like I say, base bid.
Base bid.
The second one will be the base bid with the office administrative suite. And then the third bid will be the whole enchilada. So you're looking at the prominent front, you're looking at the administrative suite, and then
I guess that's why I'm asking, because I don't know that we've ever done that, where we approve something without knowing what it's gonna cost.
So I think where we're trying to go here is just approving the scheme of what we're presenting, so that once presented with the numbers from the contractor and we get the GMP at building committee, we can determine which alternates we're gonna bring.
Minor GMP.
It's guaranteed maximum price.
Guaranteed maximum price.
Sorry, yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, and so, so that GMP would come, like Dr. Kraft just mentioned, 3 different options, and at that time, we can determine, based on how cost comes in, do we want to accept just base bid, because that's what we feel we can afford? Do we want to increase that budget by the renovation and keeping the main entry, or if we want to take the whole thing?
So once the numbers are in, it doesn't come back to us to say, we can only afford the base bid?
No,
Or
it will. It will come back to you.
It will
Yes,
come
ma'am.
back.
Yeah, so once they further develop these plans, after you guys approve schematic design, they now go pen to paper and try and develop the full set of construction documents that then the contractor can bid out to their building trade partners. And from there, they develop the guaranteed maximum price, so that then they can present it to the district, and then we actually bring it to you in building committee. And then it's actually formally presented here to the board as well, so everybody will see it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that, like I say, with escalation and what we're seeing with escalation, construction escalation, the sooner that if we feel like this is going to be feasible and needed, i.e. the administrative office suite renovated, it's better to do it earlier than later, because it's only going to increase. And I would love to say that we're going to see this magical reset. Right now we're seeing $700 a square foot plus, and that's just the reality. And I don't think historically trends tell us that it's not going to retract. So I'm seeing some John Jay students getting really nervous. I don't know what's going on here, but
yeah, and we have a good partner in Joris who's done a lot of work, not only for this district but also for John Jay. They were a partner in the Fine Arts Edition, and so we've already held kind of their feet to the fire and let them know that, hey, we want to try and make sure that we're value engineering this, making it as efficient as possible to afford us the opportunity to be able to take everything that we're presenting to you guys here and eventually be able to recommend it as a GMP in the future.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes, I just want to, Mr. Blunt, I don't know if this goes into policy, but when you were talking about adding the John Jay Science and Engineering, I looked at it as, when we have that prominent piece there, it's almost redundant, because it is John Jay High School. Well, we've got a different, but I think we need to discuss that, and maybe with the rest of our magnet schools and how we.
I don't know about the rest of the magnet schools, but yeah, if I understand what you're saying.
Or how we designate this one in particular.
Oh, I'm just going by, no, what I meant was, I'm sorry to go back and forth, but I just meant, I don't know what the campus says now. That's what I meant, because we've changed through the years on how we've actually.
Yeah, I mean, from our conversations, I think it's referred to as SEA, Science and Engineering Academy. You don't normally say the John Jay, but you have a staff member right here for SEA. How is it referred to?
John Jay High School Science and Engineering Academy.
Yeah. So it's
just said it.
John Jay High School as an umbrella. So essentially what Ms. Freeman is saying is John Jay being on the top like that becomes the umbrella, and then these are the additional academies. But we can
Yeah.
look into that for you.
I think that SCA and if the early college high school is to come to fruition, I think what's unique about John Jay is they don't really look at it as two separate or three separate entities like campuses. It's all encompassing and all one. If we need to disaggregate, we probably can, but I think that it's more a result of just the culture that has been established at John Jay as a result of being one.
Right. See, I'm not trying to change anything because I'll contend that commerce is sort of that way too. When my kids went there, they actually, depending on what you're involved with, they actually all saw themselves as Raider. And I think, at least before with business, career, and homes, it was always seen as one also. To me, that part's not different. I just going by what are they actually saying.
Sure.
That's
Yeah, we'll investigate that, President Blunt. And
yeah, I don't want to spend too much time, sorry. Okay, Trustee Saldana.
Jerry, for the record, I really like the prominent name at the top. I think that really makes a difference.
Okay, Trustee Guevara.
Yeah, and talking about potential rising costs, right? How quickly can we get those bids, the information for?
Yeah, well, we're starting construction drawings, I think, tomorrow, so.
Assuming approval here, they're getting started as quickly as possible so that we can get something in the hands of our contractor. And likely we'll break this up into packages, so you probably see a couple GMPs come your way. And that's just to release steel packages and get all the site work going, and so that way they can get contractors and start planning for hopefully some construction to start in this coming summer, especially if it's demolition. That's the goal right now. We want to take advantage of summer when most students are out. Obviously, high schools never shut down, but your population definitely shrinks. And so if we could take advantage of that and do some of the major demolition at that point, that's our goal right now.
So during the whole process, we help with budgeting and try to help guide that ship and guide that design in the right direction. So all along, we're working hand in hand to make sure what we're into paper and cost is at least going in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay.
Galt is with Joris. That's part of the advantage of having a CMAR, which is a construction manager at risk, to be able to, okay, this is going to be really expensive. Maybe you tweak this to reduce the cost, work efficiencies, what have you, and like I say, that's one of the major advantages to a CMAR delivery method. I think that, yes, there will be additional cost with the administrative renovation, but also the entrance. But you'll be able to see, I think, the way that we're getting ready to bid this, the differential, and how do we want to proceed and go forward.
Correct. Yeah, they're integral in the phasing as well, which helps us in difficult projects like this when we're fully occupied. We're going to look at opportunities to streamline that schedule as well so that we can turn over portions of the building sooner and not have to turn it all over at once. And so those are the strategies that we work through with not only the design team, but also the contractor, because they'll look at it from a constructability standpoint.
Okay, good. Any other comments or questions? All right, is there going to be a motion to come before the board? Yeah, go ahead, Trustee Harlan.
Yeah, I move we approve, I want to use the schematic design for the building upgrades at John Jay High School and John Jay Science Engineering Academy, and the future John Jay Early College High School.
Second.
Hey, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Moved and second that we approve the schematic design for building upgrades as presented. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, state nay. Good. Motion carries.
Thank you.
How we got there. Thank you.
Good work, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right. All right, we're going to go to our administrator. I do want to say to our student ambassadors, thank you all for hanging in there. We're almost there. But remember, I challenge you all that you're supposed to give us feedback on everything you see at the end of the year. So not right now, but work with Monica and
Who are, remind me, John Jay students, again, raise your hand. Okay. What do y'all, yeah, well, I don't.
No, not yet.
I'm fixing to get off the agenda.
Yeah. We better.
The John Jay Science and Engineering Academy end of it. I like how it just says it kind of combines them two.
Schools to be together,
Yeah.
not really separated.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's an issue where like our schools kind of feel like they're sort of divided.
That's what I'm saying. They are. That's right. I know. That's true everywhere. That's a good point. It's not like everybody thinks. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I'm with you. That's Yep. Thank you.
You know, some boards, to include Maryland, actually have students that are on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can come up with another list of others that should be on the board. I don't know. I know.
All right.
You're
What do we
fine,
got
but
next?
I'm
All right.
There's some other community people.
Let's
that-
rezone.
All right. We're back. We're back. Holiday time. Okay. Next, administration, Dr. Kraft, or
Yeah, so we've got a proposed boundary relief for Meade and McDermott. I'm going to turn this over to Ray Galindo. He's worked pretty hard. They've had rezoning hearings, and like I say, there needs to be obviously some relief provided. So, Ray, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kraft, Mr. Blunt, trustee. So a couple of recognitions, some comments before I begin. So as you found out last month, and moving forward, we're not expected to open a lot of schools. So the boundary proposals we bring you are going to be rather complex and difficult because we're actually looking to be efficient in terms of what we bring you in the future, not what we've done in the last 15, 20 years, many of which, of course, I remember bringing to you. So this year is the first of probably more to come in terms of this type of boundary, which again are going to be rezoning, if you will, to capitalize on space that we have in different buildings. All that being said, we this year had this committee put over 30 plus hours and had over 10 meetings to do all this work. 7 hearings within the 10, 2 deliberation meetings and 1 informational meeting. So, a lot of work that they put in this year. This is the last boundary for the year, so they're done. But because of that, I certainly wanted to recognize a few folks before we bring our SBAC chair up here. So with us tonight, we have Ron, I think is Mr. Tyler. He is one of our reps in SBAC, as well as Mr. Cesar Campos. And Miss Lori Whitmire, who you're going to hear from in just a second. She's front and center. And Miss Whitmire did not miss any of those meetings. So 30 plus hours, she was at every one, met every parent, greeted them, explained everything as much as she could to them. Did a fantastic job in all the work that she did. And on the staff side, of course, you guys know Miss McNerney, but I want to recognize because Debbie will be coming back as we bring more of these proposals to you, but Pam is retiring, Miss Pam Garcia. So after 16 years, this is her last boundary proposal, so I wanted to recognize her for all her work. So with that, Ms. Whitmire, if you will, approach the podium and tell us about McDermott and Meade and the proposal that you bring forward.
Happy to. Well, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lori Whitmire, and I'm the chair of the School Boundary Advisory Committee. We are here this evening to present the School Boundary Advisory Committee's recommendation on boundary changes that would relieve McDermott and Meade elementary schools and utilize capacity at surrounding elementary schools to balance enrollment. Although there are 7 elementary schools that are affected, we will present this as 2 proposals. The first proposal provides relief to McDermott with boundary changes to Thornton, Rhodes, and Oak Hills Terrace, including an associated boundary change from Rhodes to Thornton. The second proposal provides relief to Meade with boundary changes to Colonies North and Glen Oaks. In the committee's review, we followed the decision principles you task us with, such as maintaining neighborhood integrity, reviewing all growth projections, program accommodations and student needs, cost effectiveness, and frequency of change for students. First, I will talk about the proposal to relieve McDermott. This proposal would move approximately 175 students out of the McDermott attendance area next year and approximately 131 projected students from the Rhodes attendance area to Thornton. Information about the public hearing was sent via email to families of students in grades EE through 4th grade who might be affected by these proposed boundary zone changes. Information was also posted on the McDermott, Thornton, Rhodes, and Oak Hills Terrace Elementary School campus web pages. 227 emails were sent to families of students living in the proposed boundary change areas. These families were invited to attend public hearings held at 6:30 p.m. at the receiving campuses. These meetings were held on November 4th at Thornton, November 18th at Rhodes, November 19th at Oak Hills Terrace. 2 parents attended the Thornton public hearing, 2 parents attended the Rhodes public hearing, and no parents attended the Oak Hills Terrace public hearing. 3 to 5 SBAC members attended each meeting as well. Staff and the SBAC chairperson visited with the 2 parents that attended the hearings, and staff reviewed the proposal presentation and answered questions as needed. Campus staff was also available to answer parent questions and provide brief tours if families desired. Now, the result of the community input slide was shared during the public hearing. As of November 1st, the district did not receive any comments or phone calls from households in the proposed boundary changed areas. At the public hearings, the 4 parents were offered an opportunity to voice their questions and concerns to the staff and SBAC members. The discussions with these 4 parents included the desire to remain at McDermott, concern about bilingual education services, questions were asked about transportation and learning tree, questions were asked about daycares in the area, and a discussion took place of how areas in the proposal were selected. The SBAC had an additional working meeting with 9 members present on Thursday, November 21st. During our deliberations prior to the vote on the boundary proposal to relieve McDermott Elementary, we discussed the following. There was no written feedback or calls from this area. Comments from the 4 parents that attended the public hearings were primarily questions and staff responses. Discussed the travel distances to the proposed areas and transportation. Covered that learning trees available at all NISD elementary campuses. We noted there was very little response from families within these areas. We recognize that parents' voices are significant in boundary changes. However, in this proposal, the critical need to relieve McDermott and the limited number of responses spoke clearly to our committee. So, our recommendation for the McDermott to Thornton, Rhodes, and Oak Hills Terrace Elementary Schools, including the associated boundary change from Rhodes to Thornton Elementary School proposal, areas A to D on the map. By a vote of 9-4 and 0 against, the SBAC recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the administrative proposal to relieve McDermott Elementary School. This proposal would affect approximately 306 projected students in the attendance areas from McDermott to Thornton, Rhodes, and Oak Hills Terrace, including those moving from Rhodes to Thornton, effective August 2025. We feel our recommendations meet the needs of NISD while addressing overcrowding at an existing school and meeting the program needs in this area of the district. And just as a reminder, there is a grandfathering clause for those coming into 5th grade. They are able to remain at their existing school. Caveat being parents provide the transportation. Are there any questions? Would you like any clarifications on this proposal?
Yeah, Trustee Harrell.
Just real quick, what was the vote?
9-4 and 0 against.
9-4 and 0 against.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Trustee Saldana? As earlier? Trustee Duran?
Mm-hmm. I just have a quick question. For the ones that are moving to Colonies North Section E, those school bus, because it's in across I-10, right?
Yes, they all will receive transportation.
Yeah, I think we're doing the McDermott.
Yeah, but we're doing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll table that to the next one, but thank you for answering.
Welcome. Okay, any additional questions? Okay, shall we move on to the next? The next is the proposal to relieve Meade. This proposal would move approximately 293 students out of the Meade attendance area next year. Information about the public hearing was sent via email to families of students in grade EE through 4th grade who might be affected by these proposed boundary zone changes. Information was also posted on the Meade, Colonies North, and Glen Oaks Elementary School campus web pages. 134 emails were sent to families of students living in the proposed boundary change areas. These families were invited to attend public hearings held at 6:30 p.m. at the receiving campuses. These meetings were held on November 6th at Colonies North and November 14th at Glen Oaks. 2 parents attended the Glen Oaks public hearing, and no parents attended the Colonies North public hearing. 3 to 5 SBAC members attended each meeting as well. Staff and the SBAC chairperson visited with the 2 parents that attended the hearings, and staff reviewed the presentation and answered questions as needed. Campus staff was also available to answer parent questions and provide brief tours if families desired. This result of community input slide, that should be coming up shortly, shows that as of November 1st, the district received 6 comments from households in the proposed boundary change areas. All of the comments received were from the area proposed to move to Glen Oaks. Staff contacted all of these families to address any questions or concerns. At the public hearings, the 2 parents were offered an opportunity to voice their questions and concerns to the staff and SBAC members. The discussion with these 2 parents included questions about transportation, availability of GT and MAC GT programs, questions about Learning Tree, comments that Glen Oaks was closer to their home. Written comments concerned the following topics: desire to maintain in Meade as they were familiar with the school and staff, concern about change and transitioning to a new school for children with special needs, after-school programs, change for incoming 5th graders. However, the calls to the family explained the grandfather option, and I believe that was a satisfactory solution for them. The SBAC had an additional working meeting with 9 members present on Thursday, November 21st. During our deliberations prior to the vote on the boundary proposal to relieve Meade, we discussed written feedback from the area, comments from the 2 parents that attended the public hearings, and staff responses. We reviewed the notification process to parents. We discussed the Learning Tree as available on all NISD elementary campuses. Staff confirmed that the GT program and MAC GT class, the parent mentioned, are available at Glen Oaks. Discussed the proposal involves several campuses, but this makes sense to provide needed relief in the area of the district. We discussed the enrollment in apartment communities can vary from year to year, so it is reasonable to plan for some extra space at these schools. NISD staff will work with the families impacted by boundary changes if they have extenuating circumstances. We noticed there was very little response from family in those areas. We recognize that parents' voice are significant in boundary changes. However, in this proposal, the critical need to relieve Meade and the limited number of responses spoke clearly to our committee. So, our recommendation for the Meade to Colonies North and Glen Oaks school proposals, area E and F on the map. By a vote of 9-4 and 0 against, the SBAC recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the administrative proposal to relieve Meade Elementary School. This proposal would affect 293 projected students from Meade to Colonies North and Glen Oaks effective 2025. We feel that our recommendation meets the need of NISD while addressing overcrowding at the existing schools. Any additional questions or comments you'd like, clarification?
Trustee Harrell?
And this one isn't really for you, but I'm sure staff is, I know communicating to, there's so many refugee families, particularly in the colonies. Well, I'm looking at all the schools, but huge Catholic charities, Christian charities. And I guess I'm trying to think how many nations, right, are represented. So that, and again, this isn't a you issue. This is more how, I'm sure staff at the campuses will make them very aware.
We already did.
I'm sure. But it probably explains, not that the parents don't care and wouldn't have come, but you know, this is like a whole new thing when you just came here from Syria, right? So, you know, I'm sure they'll take good care of them.
Yes, ma'am. We knew that going into this and even after. Now, one of the hearings, we had some assistance. There was a bit of a language barrier with a couple of the parents, and so we worked through that. We really relied on the principals at the campus and their staff to make sure that the word got out as to what was going on. And certainly, if approved, we'll follow up. As we've mentioned before, we'll have all the orientation meetings that we need to at the campus to make them feel welcome and ready to go in August of 25 of next year.
Okay.
Dr. Harrell, at the quarterly refugee resettlement meetings that we're part of, we've actually shared this publicly in that forum as well, that they're boundary proposals, they're on the website, we've communicated with families, we'll have things. So the case managers, all those folks are aware of it as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Trustee Saldana?
Ray, will you explain how the main reason for doing this is that these kids lived in these attendance zones, but we're going to we're going to McDermott because they didn't have all the teachers that they needed for the language. And so that's why they really do live like in the Colonies North area. They live closer to that.
You just explained it perfectly, Ms. Aldana. So, and so with that, as we have increased the number of programs, ESL specifically in these campuses, got the teachers that we needed at all of them, yes, as Ms. Aldana just explained. Many of our families, it's going to be closer for them. Many of them already have either relatives and or family friends from the same homes and neighborhoods that are there. So that, I think, kind of was illustrated with the number of folks that didn't show up and that once we explained, knew that this was probably going to be better for their families. So if no further questions, I think we need to take, Debbie, 2 votes, correct? One for McDermott and one for Meade.
Well, and before action is taken, Ms. Whitmire, thank you to you and the CBAC committee. Y'all have not only with this rezoning, but also the middle school rezoning, put in a lot of time and service, and we really, really appreciate all that you do. These are not easy conversations. There is nothing easy about rezoning, i.e. changing and moving students that have become very, very intimate with their campus, and so we really appreciate your service and volunteerism.
Dr. Kraft, I'd like to thank you for your call too as well. I've now upgraded my cloud storage, so when you leave a message on my phone, I might actually get it the day you leave it, not a week later. But thank you very much. And Trustee Saldana, I would like to thank you for coming to some of these meetings. I really do appreciate your support, and I thought that was just a wonderful touch for these parents, and I know that the parents that were there enjoyed meeting you. So thank you very much. I know that. Thank you very much. And I just want to say I have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for all of you, and have enjoyed getting to know you over the years. And even though I may not always agree with you, but I really do appreciate the job you do, and so thank you very much for that.
I do have one question for you, almost related to your last statement per se. If there's any suggestions, since y'all been working on, we've had this criteria for a very long time. You know, if there's things that you all learn and say, maybe you should consider this, or this one doesn't weigh as much as in the future, I think that would be, I don't know if you ever had that dialogue, I think that'd be very helpful for us. Uh-oh.
Ask and you shall because I do feel that there is a better way, that where we could get some information to you. I do feel that there's information that would have been helpful the last time, but there just was not a way to do that, and I did not feel that a public forum was the right way to bring about some of those concerns that I had. So thank you very much, and you'll have my email probably tomorrow.
That'd be fine. That'd be fine. That'd be great.
Thank you, Ms. Whitmire.
Thank you all again. That's fine.
A quick apology, too, to Ms. Whitmire, Mr. Campos, and Mr. Tyler. I told them we have a really short agenda. We'll probably be done by 7:15, so come on over if you can. So thank you for being patient.
All right, good. No more board comments or questions. Remember, we have 2 items. Is there a motion to come before the board? Trustee Saldana?
I move that we accept the Meade to Colonies North and Glen Oaks proposal as discussed by our committee.
All right.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Let me just check one thing on that one. Let's make sure the wording. Okay. Motion, say any further discussion? All right, it's been moved in second. For the, as identified by trustee Saldana, all those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, state nay. All right, motion carries. Okay, is there another motion to come before the board? Is it trustee Freeman?
Yes, Mr. Blunt. I move that we approve as presented the areas from McDermott, A, B, C, and D go to Thornton Roads, Oak Hills Terrace, and then that accompanied piece from Rhodes to Thornton in D. I don't need to say that over again, do I? That's understood. So as proposed.
Okay. Make sure we got everybody comfortable. Okay, good. All right, motion, do we have a second? Second. Okay, moved in second by Homer. All those, oh, sorry. Any further discussion? All right, been moved in second. Motion as presented by trustee Freeman. All those in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed, state nay. Good, motion carries. Congratulations and thank you all again.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Ms. Whitmire.
For your
Thank you all.
time and work.
By the way, the students, ambassadors, oh, it's too late. They don't get to see one. Oh, next year. An actual boundary meeting to go to one. Are they? Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and next we'll go to our superintendent area. And Dr. Kraft.
Yes, sir. I've got a couple of items. I think you'll find in the board documents the graduation schedule. So we have signed the contract with the Alamo Dome, City of San Antonio. We are set. So I think that you'll find that the graduation schedule is actually, in my humble opinion, perfect. It really is. I mean, this is what we've been striving for. So again, big thank you to Val and Steve Daniels. You'll see that we have health careers at the sports gym that Thursday the 29th, but then we kick off really at the Alamo Dome starting on Tuesday, June 3rd at 9:30, and then you'll just see the schedule from there, June 3rd basically through June 6th.
It's perfect.
So I think that we're in, like I say, a really good position with graduation.
Okay. Trustee Harrell?
Oh, no, I'm going to wait till he gets done.
That's all I have on graduation, other than we're going to be looking forward to graduating 7,500 Northside ISD seniors.
Okay, so when are you going to talk about the future items?
Is your mic on?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'll.
Oh, that's coming up.
Okay.
That's D.
Okay. Next item, my midterm evaluation document. You'll find also for your review. There may be some tweaks, modifications, but like I say, that is for you to review. We'll bring this with your permission back in January as a executive session, closed session item, and like I say, that'll be an update in regards to goals and how we're progressing as a school district.
Yeah, and just to remind our full board, remember, we're evaluating the superintendent, the final evaluation to be in the April time period, since we have an election year in May. So that's what we're looking at, this as the mid-year, and we talked to Dr. Kraft. What he decided is to give us the information that he can in December. That gives us to January, if you have any questions, comment. But the other question, is there anything else beyond this that we're going to request as a board when we come to the January and closed session? And anybody else see anything further than what's provided? It's a lot of detail if you've already looked at it on the goals and what's the strategies and even a couple that may have gaps. Okay. Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, for clarification, Dr. Kraft, you said you would provide that in Friday letter? Or where are you providing that information?
It's loaded in board documents,
So
but I can provide it in Friday
That's
letter as well.
okay. I don't see it in my.
Oh, y'all don't see
It's
it?
not in mine.
Yeah, under executive content, at the very bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep going down. Yeah, you gotta go to.
I don't know what happened to my board docs. Well,
Oh, y'all, something changed for y'all.
Oh, the 2024
Well,
board
I mean,
superintendent? Oh, yeah.
so those that like me, I provided it.
You said that in a rap. You better strike that.
Sorry. It was an opportunity. We'll provide it in board documents as well. I don't know, Monica, I don't know if you have visibility. I
have it on mine.
Yeah, some of us.
You got to scroll down a little bit.
Hold on.
Okay.
Everybody's here now. All right, Karen, you got it?
I showed her.
All right, everybody's got it now. Okay, we're all good. He likes everybody.
No, those are like me.
Oh, my bad.
That's not who I like. I like them all. Everybody.
We found it.
Yeah, but it is very detailed. It's a lot of work, so, okay? So we'll plan on that in January.
That's a team effort. Quite honestly, Dr. Jordan, the full team has helped compile that information. So,
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So upcoming events.
Upcoming agenda items, or let me go future events. So we are working on 2 meetings. We're working on a joint PTA meeting. Our PTA council had the opportunity to visit with Chris Rivas, who is the president for the PTA councils. I asked her, would you be interested in a joint PTA meeting? And so we have that on the calendar and are looking forward to that meeting. Part of what we'll be discussing is their launch day, which is really a legislative priority. They're going to actually accompany our ambassadors, student ambassadors this year to Austin. So they'll be loading up on buses. We'll have chaperones provided, but there'll be several items, membership update, and then, like I say, some of our legislative priority information that we discussed today. So that date
18th, yeah.
is the 18th. 9:30 to 11:30. Thank you, Monica. And then the other agenda item for upcoming meetings is we are working on trying to schedule a joint San Antonio City Council meeting. It's more than likely going to be, well, it will be in 2025 going forward. Just calendars are a little bit busy right now, so more information forthcoming. Monica, was there another meeting that we need to discuss that just to be on the lookout of?
Yeah, you got the board dinner and that was identified and sent out, so was it January 22nd and 24th, if I remember right?
Correct.
Okay.
So we're set there. That'll be at Warren High School. I was just out there at CCA last week. They're looking forward to us. So, yeah, it'll be a great dinner.
Yeah, Trustee Freeman?
Yes, thank you. And the invitations that go out for the board luncheon?
You're on my to-do list, ma'am.
Okay, because, well, I know that sometimes it's difficult to find.
Some of the former.
I know your email list is not complete. So if you need to get a hold of somebody, if you'll contact us or just send it to all of us.
I actually have my notes from last year just to get with you a little early on that. So next week when it kind of calms down, this week calms down and we go into next week, then I'll be able to sit down and give you a call so we can go over that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Were there any other meetings that we needed to discuss? Like I say, thank you again for your participation in today's meetings. It is important that we engage with our elected representatives. I mean, we're very fortunate in the sense of Bexar County. We have a lot of support for public education and just Northside in general, but there's a lot at stake, and unfortunately, as you probably saw, there were some absences. There's a lot going on behind the scenes right now, in particular with the Speaker of the House race. And so we will follow up with those individuals. They know our legislative priorities. I know they would have much rather probably been with us at a luncheon and with kindergartners reading, but like I say, the timing is what it is.
And then,
with that being said, future agenda. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, finish, because I just have a question before we.
Okay. So future agenda items, you'll see that, like I say, we're already looking into January of 2025, which is hard to even imagine. We will have, like I say, the approval of the CMAR for Marshall High School coming back. If you recall, that project is encompassing the new property that has been acquired. It's going to be a reconfiguration of the entrance, and again, pretty complicated, but we're going to do it right. We'll have the Qualtrics survey, which is our culture climate survey results. This will be a really good presentation in the sense that we'll be able to benchmark where we were last year compared to this year, and then, like I say, go about building that dashboard. And then we'll have another round of safety security audits. And I anticipate that we will have probably 2 appointments for your consideration. The Assistant Superintendent for Elementary Curriculum and Instruction, which is being vacated by Patty Sanchez, did a phenomenal job. And then also potentially Deputy Superintendent for Business and Finance. So that's what we have in the works right now for January.
Okay, any board items? Trustee, was that earlier? Trustee, you had it earlier, right?
Are we supposed to take these laptops home, or what's the deal on this?
You can take those home, and y'all should be ready for pickup Thursday or Friday of the same week. So this same week, if those days, if y'all will let me know, Tanner will be here to assist y'all if you need it. But other than that, you can schedule it any other time with me if you don't want or need or have any questions. Otherwise, Thursday and Friday, Tanner is going to be available, but he's going to try to get it on one day, as many as y'all as possible.
Okay, so then we don't have to take this if we're going to get ours back
You
by
don't
the end
have
of the
to,
week.
but it's for you to take if you need it.
Okay, thank you.
And if there's a preference to technology, be it, albeit an iPad or some other device, just let us know. These are, I think, just standard issued, but we can provide technology to your liking, whatever platform that may be.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Everybody thinking now. Trustee Duran?
They want a gaming computer. I just wanted to ask I know that the students came to ask today for the request for the holiday again, and we're gonna go over for Cesar Chavez. We're gonna go over that in our policy committee meeting. But do we at this point ask for that to be placed on January's agenda right now?
When is a policy meeting?
Ray, go ahead.
We're looking at January 16th, Mr. Salcido. We were looking at 15th, but we had a conflict, so we emailed you back. So hopefully the 16th, 9 a.m., if that works for Mr. Salcido.
Yeah, and
your question is a little different, though, right? You're asking about. Yeah, she's talking about the board.
We have it on there already?
No. She's asking about the.
No, the agenda for the board.
For the board, not yet. Because if it's a policy change, it still would be a two-step discussion. In other words, you'd have first reading of the policy and then second reading, et cetera. So you have to sort of wait to see what plays out with the policy discussions.
So the earliest it could come would be February.
Yeah, that's realistic. So what we're planning on bringing into policy is a review of all of the national as well as state-recognized holidays.
And local, because it's only.
And then local.
Okay.
Because, like I say, we have the parade. Battle of Flowers. Sorry. Battle of Flowers. And so we'll review those. Again, it's not to say that we can't change our academic calendar for this year, but also keep in mind that's already been approved for next year. We're just going to need to make sure that we're doing so very intentionally with plenty of lead time to communicate effectively. Otherwise, if we exchange a day, we have school that was scheduled to be a holiday, we're going to see some attendance rates that could be very costly.
Yeah. The other part of it also is that we talked about is there is no discussion of holidays by board policy, and Department and whatever the Education Code states that the board does that. The only exception we have is Memorial Day does have the wording in there, and I think we even talked about the academic committee. But beyond that, we don't have anything in our policy. So that was one thing that seems to step us, wait a minute, we don't even have anything that defines from a board standpoint why we have the holidays that we do.
There's legal and local policy. The legal policy is dictated as a result of state legislative action, which I believe, to your point, which we'll review in policy, but I believe it's Labor Day and Memorial Day.
Both, yeah.
They cannot be instructional days. Now, staff can report, but they can't be instructional days. So, like I say, we'll take a look at all holidays, policy. Again, local policy, you have the opportunity to adjust, amend, modify, however you see fit. I just, for this upcoming, or for this school year and the next school year, we'll just need to have enough lead time from a communication standpoint if we're going to make a change to do so effectively. Otherwise, we will have some challenges with average daily attendance. That, I'll just say this, it could be at a cost of a couple $1 million.
Or the commemorative option that we just.
All that plays into it. And look at the state committee and other things. And the other thing, too, that to help out that discussion, remember, trying to avoid having a discussion now, is also understanding how we laid them out now. When we used to have to start the third or fourth week of August, also used to impact where that's, for example, Veterans Day. People ask why we don't do it. That's sort of, people need to know that history, too. So it should be a really good discussion on how things have changed, et cetera.
And I think one of the questions I had earlier, though, is how much leeway time, to your point, would we need if we were considering it for March 31st of 2026? That was one question that I think was not answered. The other, or we were going to look into it. The other is there any flexibility being a district of innovation with that? I mean, does that offer us something? And then the third part of that, after you said that, it'd be kind of neat to look at. I know we did it in Harlandale where we looked at, very intentionally, to your point, the school calendar that current year and the year before to see where were the highest absences. And, we were seeing Good Friday, that was a holiday, but Monday, 80% of the kids were gone.
Yep.
So go ahead and make that. If that data could be at the policy meeting, that would help inform some decision-making. Probably last year's attendance around the holidays. I mean, it doesn't have to be for every day, but around those days.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can bring that information, that data, attendance data, historical attendance data to the next, like I say, policy meeting. I do think that any changes to the calendar at this point, it won't be a consent agenda item. It will come before the full board for consideration.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then it would need 2 people based on our new policy to put it on the agenda, right?
Yeah, it's just our operating procedures
Our
and
board
norms.
operating.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I had another question, not on this. Are we?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Just a follow-up on the outdoor classroom. I think it kind of left hanging too. Where does it go after?
Yeah, it's a $10 million project plus to do it right. So I do think that this is going to be one that we may have to look at to do it right, proposing to the community for consideration. The concern.
Could it also be something that's chunked, like something that's cost-effective? You first, because I went out there not on your day. We used to hike out there all the time. Putting trails in first. Groups of kids, groups of schools coming out and doing the trail version of it, because the trails are just incredible. I mean, I could live without the 4 walls for a while, but the potential of it being a great contribution to outdoor education is certainly there. Just maybe there's ways of, because you know me, I'm not very patient anymore, but could we do the trails next year? And then trails with stations, and you put placards and not communication arts, construction careers could make, they're called storyboards, and you put them every so many yards, and it talks about whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, something that doesn't cost anything except kids and clubs. We've got clubs at Project Acorn is just like spreading like wildfire to our elementary schools. There's Ross Middle School is going leaps and bounds into outdoor education. I'm sure we have some other, but they come to mind right away. And then, you know, we've got O'Connor and some of the other agricultural and gardening aspects to our high schools. It could be a real district kind of thing. So, and it would, honestly, it wouldn't cost anything. I already know where some of the trails could be. And work with our community, like San Antonio River Authority or San Antonio Parks and Recreation, to do a really neat partnership with that
So,
thing.
yeah, let
Maybe
me-
with our city council too.
Yeah,
So,
let me, so we'll task Isaac and Amaya, which they're awesome.
They're phenomenal.
With just, let's look at this on a much scaled down version.
Yes.
What was being proposed was, it is truly,
It was state of the art.
it was a $10 million plus project.
Well, that took me
which
by
is
surprise.
great.
I know.
And it will be, it could be awesome. The other thing that I want to make sure that we're putting it out there that, you know, the location, the physical location of that site could be an hour on a bus transportation for some of our elementary campuses, particularly on the inner side of Loop 410.
But it could be a prototype for areas around Mitchell
you're
Lake.
right.
I mean,
Oh, you get nervous. I think she's getting.
the Southside parks
She get
are
nervous because of
phenomenal.
yeah, we get nervous because we started discussing
Yeah,
a
I
little
think
bit.
this is more of a debate, and I think
Yeah.
if we put it on the agenda, then we have the discussion
I agree.
there,
Yep.
but
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we can add that to an agenda.
Thanks.
Let us, in the meantime, work up some different options and just.
Yeah, a phased in or
Yeah.
chunked in. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. All right, Trustee Freeman.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. Trustee Saldana.
No, because she said we can't talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Don't talk about
I
it.
was just gonna say,
Up.
we have a $93 million deficit.
Okay. No, don't talk about it.
Debate time. It's not a debate.
We're good.
From Mother Nature.
We're going to plant some money trees.
Would you tell her to start now?
All right. All right. Are there any other future agenda items? Okay. So that now takes us into. Yeah, are we gonna stay here for executive session? It's only
Couple of them.
appointments and then
Yeah,
update.
we've got it's just a short one.
So y'all good? Anybody need to take a quick break? So now, if not, so we'll go into so Board of Trustees beginning at let's say what 9:05. We'll convene and close meeting in accordance with the Texas Government Section Codes 551 listed. Discussion to take place on items that were identified. So the Board of Trustees beginning at 9:16, convene back in open meeting. Action can take place on the items listed. Is there a motion to come before the board? Trustee Freeman?
Yeah, Mr. Blunt, I would move that we approve the administrative appointments as discussed in executive session.
I second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Okay, moved and second that we approve the administrative appointments as discussed in the closed session. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Good. All right, motion carries. So at 9:17, the meeting ended.